High kick coming here. Tap back by Warbrick into the hands of Katoa. Harry Grant's got a hat-trick. We play to win. We try and try. We won't say die. We won't give in. Here's Grant screaming. Ball back on the inside. Pappenhausen!
Munster for Longo. Kicking behind. And there it is. Xavier Coates in the corner. Brilliantly executed. The Melbourne Storm. Are you not entertained? We are the Storm from Melbourne Town. We'll blow the others off the ground. We are the Storm and we're number one. Goes Duke away. Munster sends a tracer bullet across the Warbrick. Knock the ball back. Lands in the hands of Eli Katoa. Oh, Katoa's cashing in. As they go to the left-hand side, Pappenhausen. Here's a chance to pick them off. And there's Green Anderson. Used early down the outside to Warbrick. Warbrick got past one. Chance here on the inside. Will Warbrick stands up. Sailor beats another one. Swan dive to finish it off. Will Warbrick, we salute you. We are the Storm from Melbourne Town. We'll blow the others off the ground. We are the Storm and we're number one.
This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day. The conclusion to the 2025 season of Rugby League leads us to this moment right here in the National Stadium. The NRL Grand Final will be played in front of a sold-out crowd of over 80,000 people. The Melbourne Storm and the Brisbane Broncos will compete in the season decider for the right to hold the Provan Summons Trophy by the end of tonight. 27 rounds of brilliant rugby league in the home and away season and a month of finals football to savour. Will the Broncos win their first premiership since 2006, or will the mighty Melbourne Storm claim their fifth title? On SEN, live from the Core Stadium, this is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day. Great to be with you right around Australia, right around Victoria, as we broadcast into the Melbourne Storm heartland. Of course, all the Storm fans tuning in tonight on SEN and via the SEN app. We are here all thanks to Host Plus. That's a plus. Jordan Canellis with you. Robbie Kearns, former Melbourne Storm legend, to join me in just a second. But firstly, tonight, look at the stadium in front of us as we paint you the picture from Sydney at Olympic Park. It is already pretty much full here as we are less than half an hour away from the opening kickoff. The pre-game entertainment, Teddy Swims, the international artist from the United States, the hip-hop artist, is about to perform in front of us as well. And we are in readiness for the grand final. Of course, it is a triple header today. They play the state championship between the winners of the New South Wales and Queensland Cups. They had the women's grand final, which we heard earlier on SEN. What a dramatic game that was. And if the showpiece event tonight, the Storm versus Broncos match, is anything like the Roosters Broncos women's final, then we will be in for a thriller here at Accor Stadium. The last 24 hours has been an exercise in minor human migration, really. We've seen crowds and crowds of people swarming around the Olympic Park precincts here, dressed in their maroon colours and gold of the Brisbane Broncos and the purple and white of the Melbourne Storm. It is only the fourth time in NRL history that we have a grand final featuring no New South Wales teams. We had this exact matchup, the Storm and the Broncos, back in 2006. We had, of course, the famous All-Queensland final in 2015 between the Broncos and North Queensland. And now we get this one again here, the Storm and the Brisbane Broncos tonight for the 2025 decider. But it was all the Broncos fans from the north travelling down, all the Storm fans from the south travelling up. I wonder what side of the ledger the locals sit on, if it's the Brisbane Broncos that they'll support or whether it's the Melbourne Storm that they go for, the Sydney locals. I must say, it is a magnificent looking stage they've got set up here for Teddy Swims, the pre-game artist. I was quite impressed actually by Snoop Dogg at the AFL Grand Final. I thought that was just about as close to what a Super Bowl entertainment show looks like for the AFL. But as I was constructing the stage here for Teddy Swims, the pre-game entertainment for tonight, it is, I don't know how many pieces make up the stage in front of us, but it's quite a big piece they've got out there. It's a great big orange stage with several podiums and an orange piano on top of it as well. It's pretty impressive as the lights go down and Teddy Swims about to make his appearance out on the middle of Accor Stadium. Pretty much every seat is taken here. It is a sellout, as I said, so we'll get close to 83,000 here at Stadium Australia. As I look across opposite me, the Kathy Freeman stand, which is the new stand opposite the broadcast side, or the newly named stand, I should say, in the last couple of years, named after, of course, Kathy Freeman, who performed great feats here in 2000, the 25-year anniversary of the Sydney 2000 Olympics, and many great moments since then have graced this field here. And hopefully, for us Storm fans, we'll be hoping that it is a 5th premiership for the Melbourne Storm. The Storm winners in 1999, 2012, 2017 and 2020. While for the Brisbane Broncos, they are bidding for their 7th premiership in what is their 29th finals campaign, their 9th grand final overall. Winners in 92, 93, 97, 98, 2000 and 2006, the Brisbane Broncos, which is pretty remarkable actually for one of the biggest rugby clubs, one of the biggest sporting clubs in Australia, to not have won a premiership in nearly 20 years, 19 years to be exact. The last time that the Broncos lifted the Provan Summers Trophy is a drought that they will be wanting to break tonight. But Storm and the Melbourne Storm fans that have travelled up, Craig Bellamy and his Melbourne Storm team will be looking to increase that drought for the Brisbane Broncos, as the Storm will look to hopefully undo the pain of last year's season decider when they took on the Penrith Panthers. The 2024 grand final was a low-scoring game. It was a dour game. It was a pretty miserable game, to be honest, for us Melbourne Storm fans. Only one try was scored, the opening try of the game, Harry Grant in the 22nd minute, and then there was not much to be spoken about thereafter for the Melbourne Storm, as they conceded 3 more tries to the Panthers, and they did the 4-peat. Pretty glorious, though. The Panthers were knocked out from our perspective. It would have been a pretty nerve-wracking affair. Not that grand finals aren't nerve-wracking, they always are, but especially against the Penrith Panthers, had they made it to the season decider again this week, it would have been even more nerve-wracking. But they were knocked out in dramatic circumstances in the prelim last week against the Brisbane Broncos. Come from behind victory, late drama in the game, high-octane rugby league, but the Penrith Panthers won't be going for the 5-peats. And speaking of the final series, so it has been a phenomenal final series, with obviously the Panthers making that run from 7th to the prelim and then getting knocked out, but also the minor premiers, the Canberra Raiders, getting knocked out in straight sets. So there was similarities, there were parallels that could be drawn between the AFL and the NRL, with the team that finished as the minor premiers, Adelaide in the AFL and Canberra in the NRL, both getting knocked out in straight sets in their respective finals campaigns. So just unbelievable. The 2 teams have been finalised. Let's go through the 17s for these 2 teams tonight. The Melbourne Storm unchanged, so it's Stefano Utuikamanu and Josh King who will be starting on the front row. Harry Grant, the skipper, is the hooker. The second rowers, Sean Law, who came back into the team last week after a fractured larynx, will be starting alongside Eliesa Katoa on the second row, and Trent Liero is the lock, wearing number 13 for Melbourne. In the halves, Jerome Hughes made a remarkable comeback last week, having suffered a shoulder injury, a fractured arm/wrist in the last round of the season against the Brisbane Broncos. Made his return last week against the Cronulla Sharks in the prelim finals. Scored a barnstorming try as well, which put any fears of, you know, maybe some bruising still or a bit of pain in that forearm, put those fears to bed as he barraged his way home for a try. He's at the starting halfback, of course, alongside Cam Munster at 5'8". Then the backs, Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates on the wing. Jack Howarth and Nick Meaney are the centres, and Ryan Pappenhausen is the fullback. On the bench, Tyron Wishart, Adavalu Lizati, who's been the unsung hero in the second half of the season, Tui Kamikamitha and Alec McDonald. So the Melbourne Storm 1-17, and Joe Chan is the reserve player, wearing number 20. For the Brisbane Broncos, they are 1-17 as named. They made one change, with leader Patrick Carrigan coming back after being suspended and missing the prelim final last week. He comes in for Ben Talty, who is a former Melbourne Storm player, was training with the Melbourne Storm in the pre-season, Ben Talty, but he's the hard luck story for the Brisbane Broncos. He goes out, Patrick Carrigan comes in. So the Brisbane Broncos will have Corey Jensen and Payne Haas as the front rowers. Corey Pakes is the hooker. The 2 second rowers, Brendan Piakura and Jordan Reiki, and Patrick Carrigan is the lock, but he'll almost play as a front rower, as a middle forward for Brisbane. In the halves, Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt, the oldest halves pairing in NRL history, each of them 35 years of age. And then the backs on the wing, Josiah Karapani and Dee Mariner. The centres, Katoni Staggs and Gemat Shibasaki. And Reece Walsh is the danger man for the Brisbane Broncos. He is the fullback, and he is the one to watch for the Queensland outfit. Ezra Mam, Kobe Hetherington, Xavier Willison and Tyson Smoothie are the bench players, and Jesse Arthurs is the number 18. He is the reserve. There's parallels that can be drawn up between these two sides. There's history that traces all the way back to the start of the Melbourne Storm when they began in 1998, when the club was founded in 1997 and then brought in 98. It was born out of the Brisbane Broncos. There were executives, there were CEOs that were from the Brisbane Broncos who made their way down south to Melbourne to start the Melbourne Storm in 1998. So really it's from... It's you know, almost at the time anyway, Brisbane Broncos IP, which began the Melbourne Storm, and that therefore was essentially the Melbourne Storm's very first rival was the Brisbane Broncos. So we've had recent rivals in the Manly Sea Eagles and the Penrith Panthers, you know, in terms of on-field success and the best of the best playing each other in recent years. But if you want historic rivalry, it is the Broncos and the Melbourne Storm that have that as well. Not only that, Craig Bellamy, he started his coaching career at the Brisbane Broncos. He was an assistant coach under Wayne Bennett and was then obviously taken across to Melbourne to be one of their early days coaches. I think he was the third coach overall for the Melbourne Storm. And obviously there's been history there as well. And then on the opposite side of the sideline, Michael Maguire, Madge, the Brisbane Broncos head coach. He started his coaching career at the Melbourne Storm under Craig Bellamy. So you had Bellyache, who started at the Brisbane Broncos. You had Michael Maguire, who was an assistant coach in the early 2000s under Craig Bellamy, and he's now at Brisbane. So there's threads that crisscross all the way across the northern states to the south as well. So there are lines and parallels and rivalry lines that can be drawn up between both of these teams here tonight. Hopefully we see it play out with some fast, hard and aggressive rugby league. And hopefully, of course, for us here on Storm Radio, hopefully it's a Melbourne Storm Premiership. This is Storm Radio, brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus. Robbie Kearns will join us in just a second. We'll get Brett Camorley in the box too. You can hear in the background Teddy Swims, who's doing his best Australian rock classic impersonation and doing it pretty well, I might add. You can hear I'm not a music expert. Is it the chords? Is it the harmonies? The melodies? I'm not a music expert. But you can hear TNT by AC/DC in the background, performed by Teddy Swims. There's a whole lot of pyrotechnics. There's flamethrowers. There's sparklers. There's fireworks. It is the works here at Accor Stadium. We will take a quick break here in our pre-game show. We'll come back on the other side of this. We'll welcome in Robbie Kearns. We might have a chat to Brett Camorley as well, who's part of our SEN League team. We've got 3 different commentaries for you tonight. We've got our main call, the neutral call, so to speak. We've got Broncos Radio. But I think you want to stick here with us on Storm Radio tonight for a 100% one-eye call of the Melbourne Storm in their bid to lift their 5th Proven Summons trophy. A break here on Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. And coming up after this, we'll get the thoughts of our experts here tonight from Accor Stadium. It's a beautiful, warm day in Sydney, 28 degrees, great conditions for football. Kick-off and the anthem after this.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
Need to move? Whether it's people, places, product or anything, you can count on Avis for great rates, reliability and experience. They make moving easy. Avis Truck Rentals has the vehicles, whether you're moving 1 bedroom or 5. With trolleys and hydraulic lifts, Avis Truck Rentals will make your moving day stress-free. Don't pay others to do what Avis makes easy. Avis Trucks, utes, vans, buses and 4-wheel drives. With a branch near you, avis.com.au.
So just what backyard sports does your family excel at? Cricket, footy, classic catches in the pool? Is your grandstand, we mean outdoor living area, up to scratch? Speak to Luther House and transform your outdoor area with an Australian-made opening and closing roof. Luther House do everything. Planning, design, council approvals, manufacturing and installation. Get your home ready for next summer now with a free design, measure and quote. Bring your outdoor area to life and see the light with Luther House. lutherhouse.com.au.
September in Melbourne means grand final time and an end to the cold winter months. With the warmer weather on the horizon, get adventure ready for a thrilling summer on the water at Melbourne Sea-Doo. They're committed to getting you out on the water to experience the freedom and excitement of your very own Sea-Doo watercraft. Brand new Sea-Doos start at $9,990, so there has never been a better time to hit the water. Visit the team at 300 Wirraway Road, Essendon Fields, or visit melbourneseadoo.com.au.
If I asked you to go outside now, grab a shovel and hack through your internet or water connection, would you do it? Of course not. It'd cost you a fortune to fix, plus being without internet or water for hours or days would drive you mad. Yet digging without searching before you dig online first is a gamble. Or worse, if you strike a gas or electricity main. Before every job, search before you dig online every time. And never dig blind.
This is one of Australia's most remote oil rigs. It's taller than a 10-storey building and gets pounded by tropical storms and 12-metre waves. Sounds dramatic, but it's not. We're Pertec, and we supply the hoses and hydraulics for this rig. We know they can perform in extreme conditions. No drama. Pertec, drama resistant since 1980.
The Choices Flooring Style Without Limit sale is here, bringing you fresh flooring and window furnishing ideas to transform every space in time for the festive season. From bold statements to timeless neutrals, discover real style, real expression and real inspiration for your home. Plus, buy any Genero Collection product and you could win a Dyson Wash G1 2-in-1 wet floor cleaner each day. Download the catalogue at choicesflooring.com or visit your local showroom today.
G'day, it's Jason Cunningham. If you work on the tools, engineering or in any specialist trade and you need genuine tools as opposed to a sausage sizzle, then come and do business with A&A Industrial Supplies. Family owned for generations, they have all your nuts, bolts and fasteners. Not to mention cutting tools, welding equipment and everything a real tradesperson needs. Just like our resident handyman, the Ox. Yeah, maybe not. A&A Industrial Supplies, London Drive, Bayswater. Ask for Brad for the SEN Deal of the Week.
At Metricon, design is the difference. And right now, you'll receive $50,000 design dollars across our designer range. And because great design is in the details, for a limited time, you can enjoy 3 upgrades completely free. The street appeal of a fully rendered home, the striking look of a Colorbond steel roof, and the comfort of refrigerated cooling. The Love by Design promotion is on now. Visit metricon.com.au. Conditions apply. CDBU 52967.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
We are the Storm from Melbourne town. We'll blow the others off the ground. We are the Storm and we're number one. To play. We play
Storm Radio here from Accor Stadium. Jordan Canellis with you on Grand Final night. It is the showpiece event of the 2025 NRL season, and it's the Melbourne Storm against the Brisbane Broncos in just the 4th occasion in NRL history that we have an all non-New South Wales Grand Final. It's the migration from the north down for the Broncos fans, from the south up for the Storm fans, here to the Olympic Park Precincts, Stadium Australia. Accor Stadium sold out, over 80,000 people crammed in to see the Storm against the Brisbane Broncos, and hopefully to see the Storm lift their 5th premiership trophy, as we on Storm Radio, of course, will be hoping for that. Robbie Kearns will be our expert here tonight on Storm Radio. Jordan Canellis with you, brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus. And you can send in your text messages at any time you want tonight. 0433 98 11 16. We've got the text messages up here in the comm box at Accor Stadium. So send through your support for the Melbourne Storm. Let us know where you think the game will be won and lost, who the key players will be. Is there going to be an unsung hero somewhere? Will there be someone who's, we talk about Ryan Pappenhausen and Cam Munster and Jerome Hughes and all the big names, Harry Grant, but will there be someone a little left of centre who might be the game winner tonight for the Melbourne Storm? Could it be someone like Eli Katoa, who is such has been a great addition to this Melbourne team in the last 3 or so years when he was brought in to the second row? Will it be someone like Trent Liero, the lock tonight, who plays his 100th game? How about that, playing a milestone game in a grand final in the number 13? Or could it be someone like Stefano Utuikamanu, who was brought in during the off-season to help bolster that middle forward pack for the Melbourne Storm, the front rower? They brought him in, and he has made a difference for the Storm this season. Of course, this time last year we were talking about Nelson Asofa-Solomona missing from the grand final against the Penrith Panthers in 2024 due to suspension. That's been the case again this season. He actually got himself suspended again a couple of weeks ago, so Big Nelson is missing once more from tonight's team for the Melbourne Storm, but it doesn't feel as crucial this season as the inclusion of Stefano Utuikamanu, who has helped offset that. So the Storm have the numbers, they've got the quality in the front row to help negate Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan and Corey Jensen. Payne Haas will arguably go down as perhaps the greatest prop forward in rugby league history by the time his career is over. So tonight for the Melbourne Storm, it is absolutely crucial that they get those matchups right. Those matchups brought to you by Seek. For the best job matches, Seek and you shall find. The Storm have loaded up, as you'd expect, in front row forwards, in middle forwards. So the starting players in Big Stefano, Josh King, who's been unbelievable this season for the Melbourne Storm, and then on the bench you've got the likes of Atavalu Lisati, Tui Kamikamica and Alec McDonald, who will all rotate through the course of the game to try and stop Payne Haas. He is going to be the one to really break the game open for the Brisbane Broncos as he carries the ball forward. His name goes up on the big screen right now as they read out the teams, and there was a massive roar for Payne Haas right around the core stadium. That is going to be one of the absolute pivot points in the game here tonight for both teams, really. It's how much can Payne Haas get on top, how much can the Melbourne Storm try and stop Payne Haas. For Seek and you shall find the key matchups tonight. As I said, 04 3 98 11 16, send through your text messages over the course of the match. It is absolutely blaring loud in here. I cannot hear myself think. And of course, stadium is 80,000 people making their voice known. Two teams being announced here on the big screens at the core stadium. And we are now within 10 minutes of the game beginning between the Melbourne Storm and the Brisbane Broncos. And it is my pleasure to welcome in for the first time tonight the man who played 169 times for the Melbourne Storm. He captained the team. He's in their team of the decade. Representative football as well. Robbie Kearns. Evening, Robbie. How are you?
Oh, Jordan, it's been an absolute journey to get here. I've been on buses, I've been on trains, I've been on ferries, I've found the SEN box, and here I am. But what a night! I tell you what, I've been up here for the last couple of days, and the weather here today has been absolutely sensational, absolutely on fire. And mate, what a game of football is going to be here tonight. Melbourne Storm taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Obviously, everyone knows where I'm going to lay my bet, but what an atmosphere. Oh my God, I can't hear myself talk. You just mentioned it. We can't hear ourselves in this box, and we're inside, so I can only imagine what's going on out there. But yes, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic game of football, and thank you for the welcome.
No, right, yeah, it is. There's no open windows in our commentary box. It's completely closed, but we're drowning in noise. We can't hear ourselves talk. It's so loud here. It's unbelievable. And what's been the feel for you? So, as I was saying before, Broncos fans travelling from the north down, Storm fans travelling from the south up. It's a non-New South Wales grand final. Who are the locals supporting? Who does the love sit for? Is it the Storm, or is there more Broncos fans here?
Well, it hasn't been. It's been 5 years. The Penrith Panthers have been the last 5 grand finals, so they've had someone to cheer about, the Sydney Siders. But yeah, well, I mean, I'm yet to see. There's lots of lights flashing around. I'm not too sure whether it's all purple or maroon at the moment, but I did a couple of functions today, and the atmosphere was pretty good, and the majority of the fans there, unfortunately for the Melbourne Storm fans, were Brisbane Broncos. Okay. So more Brisbane Broncos at the couple of functions I attended earlier on today, so it'll be interesting to see, but I know how much the Melburnians love their rugby league, how much they love their Melbourne Storm, so I'm not too sure which part of the actual stadium they'll be sitting in, but I'm pretty sure they had a couple of bays filled up with all the Melbourne Storm fans. They got on board early. I think it was Monday, Tuesday. Members first in to sign up for tickets, but yeah, it's going to be an absolutely amazing stadium. But geez, I can't see where those purple people are right now, but too many lights flashing. But yeah, looking back at it, I'm thinking there's going to be more Brisbane Broncos fans here than what there will be Melbourne Storm. But it doesn't matter what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside, and I think Melbourne Storm are going to get the chocolates.
Absolutely, yeah. The lights are still down here. They're doing a light show, so it's hard for us to actually see where the bays of fans are at the moment. Once the house lights come up, we'll be able to tell you more. 0433 98 11 16 off the text. Viv says, hey lads, gearing up for the granny. Money Munster pulling out some magic with someone watching over him from above. Get up Melbourne, says Viv off the text. Send through your thoughts throughout the course of the evening tonight. Robbie, where's the key matchup tonight? There's obviously star power all the way around both teams. If you're Craig Bellamy, where was the efforts put in during the week for where to stop the key aspect of the Brisbane Broncos?
Yeah, obviously the Brisbane Broncos. We talk about they had a new coach this year, Michael Maguire, who's, you know, from early days, there was so much hype about him and going to Brisbane Broncos. With the list they had on paper and the new coach who had a lot of success with New South Wales Origin, they were talking they were going to be premiership's favourites. And I think maybe at the start of the year they were premiership favourites, but in saying that, it took them a long while to get used to Michael Maguire's coaching style. So I think maybe halfway through the year, if not 2/3 away through the year, they weren't sitting great, they were sitting outside the eighth. And they made the last ditch run at it, maybe in the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks that they've been performing very well. So they weren't used to Michael Maguire's style of coaching. It took them a long while to get used to it, and they finally got the head around it. But if I'm Craig Bellamy, you're looking at the opposition. If I had to pick out two guys, I'm going to pick out Reece Walsh. We all know what he's done this year for the Brisbane Broncos. He's been absolutely outstanding week in, week out. And the last 8 weeks, most probably similar to what their run's been. He's been in exceptional form. I mean, if you're giving away the Dally M at for the last 8 weeks of competition, wins it by a country mile. So he's one guy we need to stop. And the other guy, which goes without saying, is, I've heard everyone talk about him all week, and it's hard to sort of contain this guy because he is so good. He's going to go down as one of the absolute greats, if not an immortal, Payne Haas. What he does as a front rower, I'm an old front rower from way back, but he is an absolute, what he does on the field, he's playing 80 minutes. Last week, played 80 minutes. So those two guys, if we can contain Reece Walsh and do our best, we won't be able to contain him, but do our best to try and contain Payne Haas. They're the two guys I feel, if we get the better of those guys, Melbourne Storm going to win the game.
So how important then is forward rotation for Craig Bellamy? There's so many, he's got 3 forwards on the bench with Lazati, Alec McDonald and Big Tui coming to meet them, but starting with Stefano Utuikamanu and Josh King. King has been such a vital piece for the Melbourne Storm. He's one of the unsung heroes, and then Big Stefano was brought in during the off-season to help bolster that front row. How do they handle Payne Haas? How they target him? How do they stop him?
Well, he just gets them. He gets a roll on for Brisbane Broncos, and I just feel we need numbers around Payne Haas. He's a big body. To pull the big man down, we've got to have at least 3, if not 4 players in the tackle, which obviously takes away from our defensive line for the next tackle. So we've got to be really smart about this. We've got to be on our game, and Payne Haas, we just need numbers around him. He's a big body, and he gets through a mountain of work every game. Here, the Brisbane Broncos. Sorry, the Melbourne Storm are coming out to, it sounds like boos out there.
Boos, yeah. It's a strong Brisbane Broncos crowd as the rival fans are booing the Melbourne Storm as they make their way onto the fields. The Storm fans are away to our left, the northern end, the end that the Olympic cauldron is at.
Yeah, I can just hearing that. The Melbourne Storm just ran out to what it sounded like boos. So, as you said, no doubt there's a lot of Sydney-siders here. So, I'm thinking Sydney guys don't like the Queensland rivals, so I was expecting to jump on the Melbourne Storm, but that's not to be. Sounds like it's a very parochial Brisbane Broncos fan out there.
So both teams are out there. The Brisbane Broncos have lined up. They are getting themselves ready for the national anthems. The Storm have made their way out with their final run through and now making their way over to line up arm in arm as well. The referees out there as well. Grant Atkins will officiate his first NRL Grand Final. Chris Sutton and Dave Munro are the touch judges. Ashley Klein, who was a talking point during the week after his prelim final that he officiated last week, he will be the bunker official tonight. As Thunderstruck, the final chords of that song ringing out around Accor Stadium. And it is now time to head down at ground level and skip the Welcome to Country and the National Anthem.
Followed by the National Anthem to be performed tonight by Comrade Sewell.
I'd like to begin by paying my respects to my ancestors and elders and extend that respect to all present here tonight. Warami, Wakamabami, Gadabara, Ujirinami, Wakabeku, Gurubari, and Gadabara. Hello. Those who have come from tonight, it's good to see you gathering on the traditional lands, skies and waters of the local people of the Darug Nation. This country is extraordinary, strong, resilient and nurturing. She holds degrees, poems, stories and experiences, not just of my people, but all people who are privileged to call her home. To those visiting for the first time, she warmly welcomes you and we hope you enjoy your time here. As we leave here tonight, please do so in the knowledge of knowing we walk this ancient land in the footprints of thousands who have walked before us. Thank you and have an amazing night.
Welcome to Country, performed by Auntie Julie and Conrad Sewell to sing the national anthem. The national anthem sung by 80,000 people. You could barely hear Conrad Sewell, the artist, performing the national anthem. That was sung in full voice by everyone here at Stadium Australia. And now only one thing left to do, Robbie, and that is play football. We're only a couple of minutes away from the opening kick-off. The Melbourne Storm deepening the toss, and they will kick off first. So, final thoughts? I mean, this rivalry as well, I was mentioning earlier, it traces back all the way to the start of when the Melbourne Storm first came in. There were executives and CEOs. Chris Johns was part of the team that set up the Melbourne Storm. So it's already there's been rivalries for the Melbourne Storm over the years, you know, Manly and Penrith in recent years, but this is where it all started, was Melbourne and Brisbane.
I do remember when we first started playing for the Melbourne Storm back in 1998, as you said. The original owner of the Melbourne Storm was John Rebo, who's basically started up the Brisbane Broncos. And he brought along with him a guy by the name of Chris Johns, who we all know, former Australian representative, Brisbane Broncos great. He came down as the CEO, and there was another couple of guys involved also. A guy by the name of Michael Moore, who unfortunately passed away in our second year of existence. It was the start of the third year, and Michael Moore was one of the greats, absolute superstar guys. So the Melbourne Storm from day dot had a lot of Brisbane Broncos feel about it, and ever since then I know how much John Rebo and Chris Johns loved beating the Brisbane Broncos. It was like they couldn't let they just wanted to beat the big brother, and win the big brother, and that's exactly what's been happening for such a long time. And still to this day, the Brisbane Broncos, they are the powerhouse of the competition. When you talk about numbers, when you talk about Pretty much. I mean, obviously we've got the Dolphins there now. We've got the Gold Coast Titans. We've got the Cowboys. But for a long period of time, they were the only team coming out of Queensland. So they've got so much backing, and to beat the Brisbane Broncos was always a great thing for the Melbourne Storm.
So, all in readiness now as the players make their way out into position. The Brisbane Broncos wearing their away strip of the all whites with the maroon shorts, and the Melbourne Storm, essentially the home team unofficially, with their purple and navy blue. And we are ready to go here from the Core Stadium. The final countdown is on. This is Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. Who wins? Hopefully it's the Melbourne Storm bidding for their 5th premiership. The kickoff by the Storm, and it's the Brisbane Broncos away first. The first hit up just 5 metres away from the Broncos line as Harry Grant and Trent Liero in his 100th game make the tackles. Packs out of dummy half over to his left, and a short run for the Broncos for Jordan Reiki. Patrick Carrigan gets his first touch as the Broncos make their way up to the 20-metre line and got absolutely clobbered by Josh King. Ben Hunt out of dummy half, gives it over to Payne Haas for his first touch, steamrolling his way up. The Broncos 23 metres away from their own goal line, and there's a whistle early on here from Grant Atkins. It's going to be the Broncos' ball.
I'm not too sure what that penalty was for. I think it might have been for a third man in. I'm not too sure what that was for, but early leg up for the Brisbane Broncos. A couple of first minutes. I'm not too sure what that was about. Maybe a little bit biased, but hard done by Melbourne Storm.
So the penalty for the Brisbane Broncos. They kick it into touch near the halfway line and begin their new set. Gennat Shibasaki near the left sideline makes a few metres against Sean Blore. Hunts out of dummy half, kicks it over to Corey Jensen, who gets the Broncos over the 40-metre line. They are in Melbourne Storm territory. Near the left side, there is the 6 again, Bell once more. So a fresh set here for the Broncos. Reece Walsh gets his first touch, and he gets marched backwards by Cam Munster. The Broncos are 30 metres away from the try line. They are attacking, going to the southern end in the first half. Carrigan gets upended near the 20-metre line. Big, strong tackle again by Harry Grant and Cam Munster combining. Near the red line of the 20 metres, the Brisbane Broncos. Spinning his way into traffic was Brendan Piakura. Got thrown around in the washing machine by Harry Grant. Now it's Carrigan. Centre field here for Payne Haas, who was stopped immediately, had no room to move. The Storm are alert early to the big front rower. Here is Hunt, who goes around to Reynolds. Now to Walsh. Gets upended. Flicks it across to the right. And the Brisbane Broncos will score first. It was a combination of passes near the try line as they were edging their way closer. Reece Walsh will come up to the line, and it is Dean Mariner who scores first for Brisbane.
Not even 3 minutes gone and the Brisbane Broncos are over. That was, I said from day one, that was a bit of a leg up for the Brisbane Broncos there. I'm not too sure what that penalty is about, but then all of a sudden they're down in the Melbourne Storm's 30-metre line and they get another set of 6. Yeah, disappointing defence there from the Melbourne Storm. That is a massive wake-up call. Yeah, not too sure there. Tiptoeing.
Is there a question that he stepped out of play, Dean Mariner? Because he ran all the way to the dead ball line and was, as you said, tiptoeing. He was walking the tightrope on the dead ball line. Did he hit the white?
It looks like he's given that. Looks like he's been given a try there.
Jeez, he got very close to stepping out of play, Dean Mariner. So it was an attack down the right edge for the Brisbane Broncos. As we take a look at the replays, Storm Radio for Host Plus, that's a plus, but it's not a plus for the Melbourne Storm, who concede the first try of this grand final. But not to worry, of course, Robbie. The Storm scored the first try last year.
Well, we just need to see
means nothing.
Big Jackie Howarth came out of the line to put a shot on Reece Walsh. We spoke about Reece Walsh pre-game, and we spoke about how we need to contain him. But if Big Jackie Howarth needs to make, if he's going to go out to try to tackle him, he needs to make that tackle.
Tentative start for the Melbourne Storm. We haven't touched the ball yet.
Disappointing, as I said. Like usually, I said from day one, I've said to so many people this week, we need to get in an arm wrestle with these guys.
So the bunker was having a look at it. Ashley Klein with all of his TV screens and replays in front of him in the bunker. Took them that time, hence the delay for the converting kick, which will be taken from 10 metres out directly in front for Adam Reynolds, and he sends it through. So 6-0 the score in the opening 3 minutes for the Brisbane Broncos.
I've been questioned during the week, Jordan, in regards to the Melbourne Storm obviously going back-to-back grand finals, losing last year to the Penrith Panthers, and this year, I mean, I don't think it's happened since the NRL was basically
losing back-to-back grand.
Yeah, back-to-back grand finals losing team. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't think it has. It certainly hasn't happened for the Melbourne Storm. Every time they've finished runner-up in a grand final, if they came back the next year, they've gone on to win it. So the omens bode well for the Melbourne Storm. But it's a bright start for the Brisbane Broncos, who went from kick-off to try line. And the Melbourne Storm yet to have a set early on as Piakura makes his way up to the Broncos' 20-metre line in his own half, stopped by Trent Liero. Away it goes out to centre field. Andrew Carrigan taken down by Liero. Flicked across to Reynolds, who comes across to the near side for Tony Staggs, trying to shrug off the tackling efforts of his opposite number 3 in Howarth. Reynolds out of dummy half, flips it across to Reiki, who comes up and collects a big hit up on his own 40-metre line from Trent Liero. The Broncos will swing it to centre field. Here comes the kick from Reece Walsh. A high left foot kick. A big bomb for Pappenhausen, who catches it nicely at his own 10 and takes off. Down the broadcast sideline, makes 10 metres and gets stopped on his own 20.
Is this the first time the Melbourne Storm had the ball? It feels like it.
It is. It certainly is. This is their first set of the game.
So 5 minutes in and first touch of the ball. Crazy.
And a try down. Xavier Coates was tackled. Dummy half Munster goes in fields. The Melbourne Storm are at their own 30-metre line. Jerome Hughes, his first touch. And now to to Meaney, who's looking for a gap down the inside right edge. He's stopped at his own 40. The Melbourne Storm work it back in field. A pass to the open side left for Eli Katoa, who gets stopped on the Sydney logo. Far side, about 20 metres in from the touchline. Grant will go short side to Hughes at tackle 5. Here goes the kick from Hughes down the sideline and into the pouch of Karapani, who takes it 5 metres from his own try line. The Broncos back in possession as they start a new set deep in their own half.
Melbourne Storm, I spoke about this, that we just need to get in an arm wrestle, set for set, and then fingers crossed they might make a mistake or of sorts. But yeah, we can't go end to end with the Brisbane Broncos.
Corey Pakes, short cut out pass to Payne Haas infield, who almost slipped through the Eli Katoa tackle. Trent Liero was there to back up, but he got a couple of post-contact metres. Payne Haas, quick passing from Corey Pakes, almost undone. Was that a knock-on? The Storm are asking the questions. The play has been stopped.
Was that a knock-on there for the Brisbane Broncos?
I reckon it was. It was a fumbled pass, and the Storm have the ball, and it's in good field position as well for the Melbourne Storm.
So for the Melbourne Storm to win tonight, we talk about the spine. We talk about the spine being Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes, Cameron Munster and Ryan Pappenhausen. Three, but the 4 of the absolute superstars of the Melbourne Storm, not only for the Melbourne Storm, but the NRL in general. For the Melbourne Storm to win tonight, 2 out of the 4 have to have standout games.
Yeah.
They have to actually excel, and that's what's going to win the Melbourne Storm the grand final here tonight.
So the Storm, with this penalty going their way, starting in their attacking half, and they are 32 metres away from the try line. They're attacking at the northern ends. Grant had a dummy half, short pass to Sean Bloor, who gets stopped by 4. The Storm are about 25 metres away, encroaching further inside Brisbane Broncos territory. Harry Grant runs it at a dummy half. Munster passes out to the right. Quick hands from Katoa to Hughes. Now to Pappenhausen. Here goes Meaney, slipping through the tackles. Meaney scores.
What a try from the Melbourne Storm.
Incredible movement from the Melbourne Storm from centre field out to the right side.
It feels like the Melbourne Storm, that was the first opportunity they had within the Brisbane Broncos half, and they made good ends of it with Nick Meaney going across for a fantastic try. Geez, there was some ball movement in that, Jordan.
There was some quick passing. Eli Katoa, the quick hands as well. Little reverse flick pass from Eli Katoa. And then how good from Meaney as we take a look at the replay here, Robbie Kearns, just to find the gap, to sidestep his way through, found the angles, Had a couple of tackles that were missed as well, which helped him. Reece Walsh, he broke through the Reece Walsh tackle, barnstormed his way through, and then flew over the try line to score the Storm's first try in the opening 10 minutes of this contest.
Geez, what a player he's been for the Melbourne Storm here in 2025. He's been absolutely sensational. Goes under the radar a bit, Nick Meaney. He's obviously started at fullback for the Melbourne Storm and now found his spot in the centres. He was that good that Melbourne Storm, Craig Bellamy, they had to find him a spot somewhere, and now has cemented his spot as the right-hand side centre and playing sensational football. Will take the kick for goal.
To convert his own try, Nick Meaney is 15 metres out, halfway towards the right sideline. So there's a bit of an acute angle. He steps in, one step, sends it, and gets it.
So just going back to that first try from the Brisbane Broncos, the Melbourne Storm, they haven't even touched the ball yet, and the Brisbane Broncos go over for a try. I think if anything, most probably a little bit gun shy. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what happened there, but anyway, we're back to 6 apiece, and now we're on an even playing field. I'd like to see what the Melbourne Storm can do in this. We're only 9 minutes in.
One try apiece, attacking football early on. This is Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. Jordan Canellis and Robbie Kearns with you for the call of the 2025 NRL Grand Final here from Accor Stadium. The Broncos kick off in the Storm with Stefano Utuikamanu in their own half. Taken out of dummy half by Harry Grant, who runs at 10 metres and gets to the 20-metre line. Quick play the ball from Pappenhausen, who's trying to wriggle his way through the gaps of the Broncos line and gets up to about 35 from their own try line. The Melbourne Storm approaching halfway. Jerome Hughes as the Storm use the right side. Katoa cut out pass to Warbrick. Puts the goose step on but can't fool the defence in front of him, and he's stopped at the halfway mark. Melbourne Storm.
I'm loving the ball movement from the Melbourne Storm. They obviously it's not just one out coming out of their own half. They're willing to play the ball a bit, spin it wide. And so far, so good.
Quick set for the Storm. Hughes kicks from the 40. It's a high bomb. Walsh underneath it. He was being pursued by Cam Munster. A bit of pressure from Cam Munster. And Walsh makes the catch and falls to ground immediately. And they'll start from their own 10-metre line here, the Brisbane Broncos. So 6-all is the score after about 10 or so minutes here of the grand final. 30 minutes to go in the first half. It's Dean Mariner who scored for the Broncos and Nick Meaney who scored for the Melbourne Storm, converting his own try to level the scores. The Brisbane Broncos are 28 metres from their own try line. Corey Paix runs it out of dummy half, trying to wriggle around Eli Katoa, dragged down by the ankles. Ben Hunt out of dummy half. It's a bad pass from Hunt, picked up by Reynolds, who kicks quickly. He punts it for distance and goes all the way down to the in-goal area for the Melbourne Storm, picked up by Xavier Coates, and out he trots over the 10 metres, up to the 15, gets a big hit up from Carrigan, who rocked him backwards. Was there a bit of holding? Yes, there was. Not letting go in the ruck. That's a penalty to the Storm, Robbie.
Yeah, no, looking good. Big Xavier Coates, what a sensational season he's had. 2025. He looked like a bit of a high shot too there by Carrigan, but it was all in the shoulders, no swing arm, so no malice involved. But
let's go, Jerome.
But he's a sensational year, and Melbourne Storm have been given a bit of a leg up here, absolutely.
0433 98 11 16. Let us know where you're listening from. Thank you, Tom, off the text. Loving the call. Penalty to the Storm. They kick it into touch, and they'll start this around their own 40-metre line. So about just over half the field to go here for the Storm. Josh King near the halfway line. It's Grant in centre field. So Munster, reverse pass to Liero, who's running the gaps. He cuts his run through and diverts his run straight. He makes up about 5 or so metres. Grant to Hughes. That looked like a forward pass from Hughes. Not blown by the referee. And Meaney's at the 20. Melbourne Storm are halfway inside Broncos territory.
Once again, great ball movement from the Melbourne Storm.
Hughes to King. They want to go the right sideline. Offload from King to Grant. Hughes deep past to Pappenhausen. They come to the left side now, the broadcast sideline. Nick Meaney is stopped. Jack Howarth is stopped and taken down. 10 metres from the sideline, 20 metres from the try line.
Xavier Coates.
Hughes puts the kick up. Coates was there, comes off the Broncos, and Payne Haas was there, but it is going to be Storm ball.
There's been so much talk about this. Xavier Coates is so good under the high ball, out wide, and maybe the last sort of 4 to 5 games before the finals, he was run off the ball so much because he's such an attacking weapon for the Melbourne Storm, and so much talk in the lead up to these finals about will he or won't he be pushed off the ball, and that's exactly what happened to SEN. Melbourne Storm.
So a penalty, and they start a new set here, the Melbourne Storm. They are 10 metres away from scoring. Scores tied at 6-all at the moment. Still early days in the first half of the grand final. Josh King is 2 metres out, being stopped by a 3-man tackle. Chief among them, Payne Haas, the 2 front rowers going head-to-head. Hughes fakes the pass, then runs into a dead end as the Storm are about 5 metres out in centre field, a couple of metres away from the goalposts. Harry Grant, there's the 6 again, Bell. And they'll get a new set here, the Melbourne Storm, for a penalty.
As I said, as long as the referee's consistent with his calls. Harry Grant out of dummy half there.
Goes to Katoa, short pass. He holds onto it, making sure to not lose it. The Storm are still knocking on the door, 2 metres out. Here is Grant, passes out to the left. Munster breaking the tackle, sidestepping a couple, runs into trouble. Another penalty going the Storm's way. They're getting chance after chance here, the Storm. Got to make the most of this. Grant goes in from dummy half, dives to the try line, stopped on the line. The Broncos digging their heels in.
Tackle 1.
Melbourne asking the questions. Munster flicks the pass across to Hughes, puts the kick through. Katoa chases. Did he down it in the in goal?
Looks like Eli Katoa looks like he's scored that try for the Melbourne Storm. It was play 3, and I think it was Jerome Hughes put that kick through. I thought it might be too early, but it looked like Melbourne Storm might have scored a try here.
He reckons he has, Eli Katoa. No doubt they'll look at this because there was a 3-man chase. One of those was Eli Katoa. 2 of them were the Broncos' defence. The Broncos will argue that they held it up, that Katoa didn't actually place it down in the in goal. From the first replay I've seen, Robbie, I reckon he scored that.
It looks good, looks good. Jerome Hughes put that through. Crafty little halfback as he is. Let's see what he does here. Yeah, to me, that's a try. Absolute try for the Melbourne Storm. Second try now. I talk about Eli Katoa. I spoke about him a couple of times today. I did a couple of functions earlier on. Talking about the unsung heroes of the Melbourne Storm. Eli Katoa and Sean Bloor, our 2 back rowers. They're 2 big monster back rowers. They've been performing so well for so long. And, Eli Katoa, they talk about how good he's been under the high ball. But that was a small grubber from the Jerome Hughes, and chased it through into the try time for the great man, Eli Katoa. What a season he's had. Actually made the Dally M Team of the Year. He's been in sensational form all year and gets to score a try for Melbourne Storm. Second try of the night.
The kick from Nick Meaney is all good. The Melbourne Storm go up 12-6 on the scoreboards. Melbourne Storm radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. And we've had 3 tries in the opening 15 minutes of this grand final.
Geez, after a wobbly start for the Melbourne Storm, obviously conceding that first try within the first 3 or 4 minutes, they've come back and scored a couple on the Brisbane Broncos. So the back half of this first half will be very exciting. Lots of points scored. I was telling everyone that wanted to listen, it was going to be a low-scoring game. I'm thinking 14 points to 10 Melbourne Storm, but we're nearly there.
And they got, the Storm got several chances there. There was a couple of penalties, a few 6-again restarts, so the Storm made the most of it. 12-6 is the scoreline. We've played 15 minutes of the first half of the grand final. Here's Pappenhauser making it over the 30-metre line for the Melbourne Storm. Grant out of dummy half to King, who cops a big hit up and then gets another 2 or 3 metres after contact. To the infield for Liero. Over halfway, good progression made here on this set for the Melbourne Storm inside Broncos territory. Tackle 5, here comes the kick from Jerome Hughes.
Jeez, I love the way Trent Liero's going away about this first 20 minutes of the game. He's tough, he's strong, he's skillful, and seeing the world on fire for the first 20 minutes.
Karapani on the left wing catches for the Broncos. And Dean Mariner, who's folded in from the right side to come across to the infield, is there as well. The 2 wingers playing on the same side momentarily for Brisbane. Ben Hunt. His first grand final, Ben Hunt, since that infamous 2015 grand final, the knock-on which led to the North Queensland Cowboys winning. It's a redemption arc for Ben Hunt at the age of 35 tonight for the Broncos. Hopefully the Storm, for our sake, Robbie, can stop that redemption arc in its tracks.
Yeah, so much spoken about Ben Hunt. He's been an absolute sensational player for not only the Brisbane Broncos but also St George for a long period of time.
Here's Ryan Pappenhausen after the end of the set for the Broncos. Takes the catch, runs it up to the left sideline, 10 metres infield, and at the 30-metre line from their own try line, the Melbourne Storm. What have you seen, Robbie?
I was just saying the young Tyron Wishart's out there already, 20 minutes in, and he's, not even 20 minutes, 18 minutes in. Just trying to work out who he's taken off here. I didn't see it.
Sean Bloor is over halfway, and the Storm are at the 40-metre line now of the Broncos. Hughes to Pappenhausen, who's trying to break tackles.
Last tackle.
Hunt was holding on for dear life. 30 metres out. Again, they go short side for the kick. Hughes, another bomb to defuse for the Brisbane Broncos. Walsh, Katoa was there getting in the way. And it's going to be a knock-on against Katoa as it bounced off his chest. Broncos ball.
I'm not too sure who... looks like Jackie Howarth's come off. Left-hand centre.
Did he go down the race?
I'm not too sure there, but I would think only 20 minutes in for Tyron Wishart to go on in the centres. Something's happened to Jackie Howarth. I'm not too sure. Keep an eye out there.
Melbourne Storm leading 12-6. We've played about 18 minutes so far in the first half. Dean Mariner gets over the 20-metre line. Broncos in their own half. Carrigan in the middle. Over to Hunt. Passes out to Walsh. Across the 30-metre line they go. Up to the 40. Shibasaki now to Karapani. Down the left sideline, the Brisbane Broncos. They are stopped 43 metres from their own try line. The Storm came across to apprehend them. And now Ben Hunt wriggles through. Gets up to the halfway line.
So far, so good for the Melbourne Storm. Well, both sides. I haven't seen a line breakers yet. Obviously, there's been a few tries scored, but haven't been any major line breaks.
Long-range scrubber kick from Reece Walsh from the left edge, all the way to underneath the goalpost for Pappenhausen to collect. Here is Tyron Wishart. Off the bench for the Melbourne Storm and on immediately.
Geez, hasn't he been good for the Melbourne Storm over the last couple of years? Mr. Fix-It. Big tackle there from the Brisbane Broncos.
Patrick Carrigan picking up Will Warbrick and putting him back on his back. Here's Meaney. Grant out to Katoa. Has to get around his own teammate Katoa, Will Warbrick, and he stops. No, he offloads. Does well. Katoa over to Grant. Now to Jerome Hughes. Melbourne Storm are 10 metres away from the halfway mark.
6 to go there.
Yeah, just they held on to Jerome Hughes. Couldn't get his ankle out of the ruck.
I'm not too sure what the call is there, Jordan. Why not blow a penalty? Is it just 6 again? Or, I mean, I'm not too sure what the difference is.
How do they judge the difference between a penalty and a 6 again?
Yeah, to me that was a penalty.
The Storm are in the Broncos half now, though. 30 metres away, the Melbourne Storm. The fake handoff from Munster gives it to Pappenhausen. Now to Coates, running the inside lines. Breaks through one line, gets taken down. It's going to be a Storm ball.
Looks like that was a high tackle there, Jordan.
It is. Grant Atkins made the call, our referee. Gee, once they got past halfway, Robbie, they were making ground in no time.
High tackle there from Reece Walsh on Xavier Coates. I don't think there was any intent in that, no malice involved, but it was just a high shot. Xavier Coates going low to the ground, and Reece Walsh comes in, and actually, it's an accidental, bouncing with his shoulder. Not a bad shot, actually. Surprised he didn't get 10 minutes in the bin there, But again, I'm old school. If there's malice involved, send him off or give him 10 minutes. But I don't think there's too much malice in there. Just a little bit of accidental head clash.
Yeah, no malice, just clumsy. It was shoulder to the face though, so tough one to wear for Coates. So penalty and new set here for the Storm. 20 metres out. Stefano breaking through the tackles, trying to run away from Payne Haas, who drags him down from behind. That's a good battle.
So much said about Stefano's comments throughout the week. He's going to run over the top of the field.
Here's Hughes, now to Katoa, down the right edge. They're over the 10-metre line, 5 metres away here, the Storm. They lead 12-6. Can they extend that lead here, the Storm? And knocking on the door again, the Broncos digging their heels in on their own try line. Pappenhausen to Wishart, who makes it to 5 metres out again as they probe down the left side now. Grant at dummy half, infield to Munster. Short pass to Liero, who skips his way to the line and he's stopped immediately. Wrestles his way forwards. Grant thinks about running it, goes to Munster, and now to Stefano, who stiff arms Corey Jensen, and then he will cop the standing tackle here, Stefano. So as the play slows right in front of the goalposts. Grant to Hughes, to Katoa, out the side, cut out pass, Warbrick reaches out, has he got it? Yes, he has. Will Warbrick gets the Storm's third try of the first half.
I thought he might have blown that try then. I thought he might have gone too far. But we're going to see a replay in 1 second, and it looks like the Melbourne Storm might have gone over for the third try in the first half here, the 2025 Grand Final. Geez, I tell you what, Will Warbrick's only played the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, came in late, I think round 24 something. Yeah, that's him.
Absolute beast of a try, that.
Oh, he rode the tackles. He was right up against the right sideline, Will Warbrick. He just cut in a little bit to afford himself some space, and he had 3 tacklers angling in at him, trying to bustle him away at the try line. He rode every hit and planted down for the Melbourne Storm. 16-6, kick to come.
Geez, after a slow start from Melbourne Storm, they're absolutely on fire for the last 20-25 minutes of this first half. Geez, I'll tell you what, he makes a difference. He's such a beast of a man. He's 6'3", 6'4", 106 kilos, and he runs like the wind, and he's so strong. And geez, what a try from Will Warbrick. We love him down there at the Melbourne Storm. There's talk that he might go back to rugby union with that new competition, but whilst we've got him out at the Melbourne Storm, we're going to make the most of him and give him a real shot. It could be his first of many premierships for the Melbourne Storm. Fingers crossed.
He has missed most of the season, as you said, with concussion issues. Here comes the kick from Meaney. It's on the sideline, and he has missed this one, Nick Meaney. So 16-6, the score remains. Since he's come back in, though, Will Warbrick, who's scored in now every game in the last month. So round 27, the qualifying final, the prelim, and now the grand final. He's on a 4-game tear, Will Warbrick, of tries.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Melbourne Storm, we talk about the big wigs, we talk about the spine, we talk about the absolute superstars of our team. I mentioned the 2 back rows in Eli Katoa and Shawnee Bloor, but 2 other guys. I mean, Xavier Coates is the first winger to ever win the Player of the Year for Melbourne Storm. It wasn't last year, it was the year before. I think he might have won the Player of the Year, and he's been in sensational form for the last 3 years. He's been an absolute godsend for the Melbourne Storm. And on the opposite wing, we've got Will Warbrick, absolute beast of a man from New Zealand.
Storm Radio on SEN. Across the country on the SEN app, brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus. The Melbourne Storm leading 16-6. We played 24 minutes in the first half.
Gee, so much for my 14 points to 10 scoreline.
You know what? I'm glad. We want a high-scoring win here, Robbie.
Yeah, 16 points to 6.
Stefano wins a penalty for the Melbourne Storm.
No, looks like he's dropped the ball there. Is that right?
The Storm is celebrating.
He scored a scrum. Yeah, it looks like Stefano's been hit.
Oh, he has too, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, it looks like he's been hit. Yeah, Kura's looked like he's put a shot on. Ezra Mann. The crowd goes mad for Ezra Mann. On the
controversial
bench.
After his pre-season.
Absolutely.
Yep. Here goes the kick then for the Brisbane Broncos, kicking early into the in-goal, and Ryan Pappenhausen chasing back. Gee, that came out of nowhere from the scrum from the Brisbane Broncos, 30 metres away from the try line. The kick went in quickly, and Pappenhausen kills it over the dead ball line for a dropout.
Sitting 16 points to 6, that's off the cuff, that. I'm not too sure how much preparation they put into that, but that's usually matches a little bit conservative, but first tackle. This is what I love. I love a long dropout. You've heard me talk about it. I hate those short kickoffs.
I haven't seen that in a while for the Storm. They went the long dropout along the ground as well, over halfway, just to force the Broncos back.
Tackle 1, 42 metres out. I love that.
Toby Hetherington is on off the bench for the Broncos, wearing number 15. Here's Pakes at a dummy half to Payne Haas. We bust through a 2-man tackle, makes up a few extra metres, and the Broncos are 25 metres away here, inside Storm territory. Reynolds fakes a few handoffs, gives it to Walsh, and now steaming his way forward, Katoni Staggs. Stopped 3 metres away. Now it's the Broncos' turn. to get deep into Storm territory. 6 again. Walsh, Reynolds, centre field. Here is Hetherington, stops 12 metres away.
I haven't seen Big Jackie House come out back to the bench. Another set of 6.
Reynolds to Carrigan, 10 metres out here, the Broncos. That was a slow play that time on that tackle. Carrigan going nowhere quickly against Josh King. In front of the goalposts. Pakes, 10 metres out. Reynolds, Walsh, fakes the pass, slipping through the tackles, gives it to Mariner. He's got a dead end ahead of him. The Storm have done well there. They came across quickly.
I tell you what, every time Reece Walsh gets a ball in his hands, he's absolutely electrifying.
He is so quick, Reece Walsh. Here's Hunt, puts a kick through, and the Storm will chase it back. The runners never came from the Broncos, and Will Warbrick will mop up on his own goal line. Storm back in possession, and with a 10-point lead, 16-6. Here in the first half.
I just mentioned Big Jackie Howarth not to return yet from the change rooms. He's, I'm not too sure what happened there. We're going to have to do a bit of the investigation and stuff there.
Still 14 minutes to go in the first half. There you go. You just heard the ground announcer, Alec McDonald, and there he is, number 17 off the bench.
Jeez, I love Alec McDonald. I've spoken about it before. So much leg speed in and around the ruck. Absolute superstar.
Great game changer off the bench as Munster kicks it through, goes into the in-goal and out the dead ball line from the Munster kick.
That's not what you want. 7 tackles.
They'll come up to their own 20-metre line here, the Broncos. Payne Haas coming off, and Xavier Willison, who was a difference maker in that prelim last week against the Panthers, scored a try in the game as well and had a great impact. So he comes on for his first minutes of the grand final and gets the first touch and gets knocked back by Josh King. Welcome to the grand final. Xavier Willison copped that from Melbourne Storm's very own Josh King.
Big Pony Haas last weekend played 80 minutes. He's off with about 12 minutes to go.
The Broncos at the halfway line now. Here's Hunt, goes out to his left and going backwards was Pia Kura.
I was going to say, don't worry about Jerome Hughes and his injuries. He's got a broken arm, a bunged shoulder, and just pulled off possibly one of the hits of the season. I'd love to see this again.
Here's the replay. Hughes on Pia Kura.
Oh my God.
That's a good fair hit, Robbie.
I cannot believe the way our game's going. And whilst I've got the opportunity, I'm going to say it. There was nothing in that tackle. His head hit his chest.
There was almost no head contact at all. That was chest to chest.
Oh my God.
That was a bad decision.
Poor decision.
Our referee. It allows the Broncos to get further inside the Storm half. The Broncos are now 12 metres away.
Can we sub the ref in?
I'm with you. Reynolds to Walsh. Walsh in front of the goalpost here for Brisbane. The Storm have the lead, 16-6 here in the first half. There's 12 minutes to go before half-time. The Broncos will come across to Jordan Reiki at the right edge. He is taken down 5 metres away. Corey Pakes at dummy half. We'll go to the open side. Short pass to Willison, who came bullocking his way through. Ryan Pappenhausen got jolted backwards. 1 metre away here, the Broncos, looking to cut down the gap of the Storm. Reynolds' kick fails. He hits legs in front of him. And I'm
not sure what he's called there.
I don't know either. Reynolds tried to put a grubber kick through from 5 metres out. It took the shins of the Storm players ahead of him. And the ref's blown his whistle.
It looks like it was going towards the Brisbane Broncos way there, but I think Harry Grant...
Well, decision of accidental offside after the kick from Melbourne.
So it looks like Harry Grant's put in a captain's challenge. Usually Harry Grant's pretty good at these decisions.
See the ball here. It comes off the knee of Josh King and then off Adam Reynolds. It's play on at this stage. It's not played out, so it's still the last tackle.
You're hearing the audio from the bunker.
Melbourne then gain possession and are tackled. It'll be a play the ball with Eli Katoa tackle 1. The challenge is successful.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the bench on
it looked like the referee had made a decision that the Melbourne Storm had actually played at that ball, but he's done a great call there. I just gave him a big plug. Harry Grant's usually correct when he does his captain's challenge, and that's exactly what just happened.
So Storm new set as looks like Piakura is coming off after that hit against Jerome Hughes for HIA. He goes down the race, Brendan Piakura, the second rower. Melbourne Storm back in possession after that, so Harry Grant's captain's challenge negates the now false call from the referee. The Storm are out the right edge. Here's Jerome Hughes, gets past one tackle and gets it over the 20-metre line. The Storm still with that 10-point advantage. 16-6 is the score. There's 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. The kick from the Storm comes. It goes all the way down to the 20 of the Broncos, and it's fielded by Dean Mariner, who runs over the 30 and continues on up to the 40 as well. Good run from Mariner of Brisbane.
Geez, I thought Muntz was absolutely outstanding last weekend against the Sharkies, and I'm expecting him to do big things tonight. He's been pretty quiet so far, but I'm looking for a breakout performance from him here in the back end of the first half and hopefully in the second half.
Here's Willison. The Broncos in Storm territory. 40 metres away. Little reverse pass from Tyson Smoothie into Kobe Hetherington. Continues on. The Broncos looking to play this quickly. Here goes Reece Walsh. Through one, through another. That is a great try, admittedly, from Reece Walsh. That's an unbelievable try. The Brisbane Broncos score. They get one back on the Melbourne Storm. The Storm just could not stop Reece Lightning. Biased, I'm filthy. Unbiased, that was a remarkable try from Reece Walsh.
No, absolutely. We spoke about him earlier on. Everyone's been talking about him all week. And Reece Walsh is so strong and in around that ruck with some loose forwards. It's obviously 10 minutes to go in the first half. And mate, so fast, so quick. There's Trent Lioro. Terrible tackle by Trent. Pappenhausen. Shawnee Ball. Yeah, no, credit where credit's due. Great try from Reece Walsh. He's a superstar player, and just goes to show. He's just got the Brisbane Broncos back into this game with 10 minutes to go. Less than 10 minutes to go in this first half. You see on the big screen all those Brisbane Broncos fans up there in Brisbane going nuts. Well, if anyone's going to break this game open, it's going to be Reece Walsh. And it looks like they're going to convert this. 16 points to 12. With 8 minutes 30 to go in the first half.
There it is. This is Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. So we are obviously watching this with a purple lens tonight. But as you said, Robbie, credit where credit's due. That's a great grand final try from Reece Walsh. Hopefully that's the only one he scores for the evening. As Ezra Mann is coming on now for the Brisbane Broncos.
We talk about as the big cheer goes up, or jeer goes up for Ezra Mann. But we talked about Reece Walsh. I mean, there was 2 or 3 defenders down in the middle of the ruck there for Melbourne Storm. I'm not too sure. That's one thing that Craig Gormley loves. He loves winning that ruck, and I'm not too sure who it was. It might have been Eli Katoa in and around that ruck. He was slow to get off the ground there, and Reece Walsh saw that in and around the ruck. A couple of defenders down and made the most of it. Close game of football. This 16 points to 12.
16-12 with 10 minutes to go in the first half. So 3 tries to 2. The Storm still leading by 4 points. Warbrick, Meaney and Katoa, the try scorers for the Melbourne Storm. Dean Mariner and now Reece Walsh for the Brisbane Broncos. The Broncos receive kickoff 20 metres from their own try line. It is Hetherington taken down in the tackle. Ben Hunt out at dummy half. Flicks it across to his left. Tony Staggs goes bullocking his way past the 30. Tackled by Tui Kamikamitha. Hunts to Reynolds to the infield now for Hetherington again, who spins through the tackles. King takes him to ground with Harry Grant. Hunts goes the kick, keeps it low, goes deep into the Storm half. Xavier Coates will sweep around and collect it near the left sideline. He'll trot back and run laterally across the 10-metre line and now stopped 12 metres out from his own try line. And a whistle here from Grant Atkins, the referee.
Geez, that's twice tonight. Big Xavier Coates been hit in the head. And Xavier Coates, one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. Got no malice about him whatsoever, so I'm not too sure whether they're trying to go after him here, but There's been a sensational play for the Melbourne Storm, so maybe they are going after him. But twice in the last 15 minutes, they had a high shot. He's blown up about a big Xavier. Anyway, a bit of a leg up there for the Melbourne Storm, which is fantastic. 5 minutes to go.
Xavier Coates, 20 tries in 21 games coming into tonight this season. Unbelievable scoring form for Xavier Coates. So with that penalty, the Storm will take the ball up to about the halfway line. Tui Kamikamitha, 1 metre away from the halfway line, tackled by Carrigan. Grants goes the right side, short pass first to Josh King. And into Brisbane territory they go. The Storm are now 41 metres away as they come back infield to Hughes. Now to Munster. Short pass to Wishart, lost his footing and slips over into the Ben Hunt tackle. 40 metres out here, the Melbourne Storm.
His old man played for the St George Dragons, St George Illawarra Dragons, I should say, in the 1999 Grand Final versus the Melbourne Storm. Tyrone Wishart's old big Rod Wishart, and the big rocket, come off the bench that game. I do remember that.
177 games he played for the Dragons, did Rod Wishart. Here comes the kick from the Storm down to the left sideline. Xavier Coates competes with Mariner, and the ball goes out of play.
Looks like it might be a Melbourne Storm feed here.
I think it is.
Advantage play, but it looks like look at this again. I'm sure the ref will look at it again.
Here comes the replay. Dean Mariner certainly got up looking filthy. He got a touch, Xavier Coates. Gee, that's a line ball call. We'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. How long to go? We're talking I called 5 minutes earlier, but it's now 5 minutes 30 to go, so might be able to get across the stripe one last time here in the first half.
The Storm get a stroke of luck here. They lead by 4 points and they're 10 metres away here, Melbourne. Here's Katoa, dragging tacklers with him. Carrigan can't cope with the power of Eli Katoa. 3 metres away here. The Harry Grant pass over to Liero. He darts his way past a couple of tacklers and taken down eventually by Hunt. And now Grant. Goes short to Hughes, steps one way, then the other. Jerome Hughes gets a try in the grand final. From injury to try scorer in the season decider, Robbie Kearns, Jerome Hughes weaving his magic.
We spoke about the big four, and I told you that 2 of the 4 have to have a big breakout performance here tonight. And Jerome Hughes, 10 metres out, puts on a right foot step, left foot step, and straight across underneath the post. What a try from Jerome Hughes. So much being mentioned about this guy. He busted his shoulder only 8 weeks ago. They said he was going to be out for the rest of the season. He puts on a brave face, pulls on his big boy pant off his right, 2 steps off his right. Oh my God, what a fantastic Jerome Hughes. Anyway, going back to it, he did his shoulder. They said he wasn't going to be back. He came back. He broke his wrist. They said he wasn't going to come back. He came back. And here he's scoring. Oh, what a try. 4 minutes ago, the Melbourne Storm, that's their 4th try of the night. And what a sensational individual brilliance from Jerome Hughes. He's such a good player. We are such a better team with Jerome Hughes in the number 7 jumper. And, geez, he came down to Melbourne Storm as a fullback. Believe it or not, he's gone on to play halfback to win a Dally M, and fingers crossed, a premiership will be under his belt after tonight. 3 minutes ago in the Melbourne Storm, that's 4 tries to 2. Looking good so far, the mighty Melbourne Storm.
So it's 22 to 12, the scoreline right now, and Jerome Hughes, the wizard from Wellington, he scored a barnstorming try in the preliminary final where he ran 30 metres and took tacklers with him in a display of power and strength. This one was a display of creativity and finesse as he found the gap and targeted the hole. Goes underneath the posts. 22 to 12 the score. Storm Radio for Host Plus, that's a plus.
You talk about heroes. Talk about heroes to Melbourne Storm. I mean, to come out only after 2 weeks with a broken wrist. And if you're on the wing, you most probably could hide a little bit, but he's a halfback. Big Tui coming back off the back fence. What a run. Fantastic. Yeah, but going back to Jerome Hughes, I mean, as a halfback, you're using your wrist to pass the ball, you're using your wrist to run the ball. They aimed up at him last week, and they're aiming up at him again tonight. All the big boys are running at him, and he's doing a fine job. Tough hombre.
3 minutes to play in the first half. The Storm have a nice buffer, 20 22-12 is the scoreline, so 10 points of difference for the Storm. Nice pass out to Will Warbrick down the right sideline. Threatened to break through, but Karapani latched on and tackles Warbrick over the halfway line.
Just, I love when the Melbourne Storm throw the ball around. It's just such a better game for them.
Meaney playing out on the right edge. One in from Warbrick. Pappenhausen, Grant at dummy half. The kick from Munster. Long crossfield kick down to the right wing of the Broncos. Fielded nicely by Mariner. Takes the catch and will run up to 8 metres out from his own try line, Dean Mariner.
10 points in front. The Melbourne Storm, 22 points to 12. 2 minutes 20 to play.
The Brisbane Broncos shift it quickly across to the left side. And Jordan Ricky taken down. Here's Ezra Mann at dummy half inside to Gemat Shibasaki. He's been a revelation this season, but quiet tonight so far, the number 4 for the Broncos. Out to the left, Willison was taken down by the ankle. Mann again goes the short side, wants to take on the Storm down that short side, left sideline. Gains about 10 or so metres and is stopped at the halfway mark. Here comes the bomb from Reynolds. Spinning awkwardly through the air. Pappenhausen catches 15 metres.
I've never seen Pappenhausen drop a ball. When we talk about big kicks, I mean, there's, you know, the Matty Burton bombs these days are absolutely sky high, but always cool under pressure, the old Pappenhausen. Never dropped the ball.
Adam Reynolds made sure to put a bit of mongrel on that one, and it was still no issue for Pappenhausen. Here's Grant at his own 40. Pappenhausen advances the Storm up to halfway and over.
I just want to say to all our listeners out there, Harry Grant, out the dummy half tonight, whilst he's just been so efficient off the ground. His decision making has been absolutely exceptional. So Harry Grant, I know he can't, for our listeners out there, you may be watching, you may be not, but he's been in fine form.
The kick from the Storm goes up. Reece Walsh catches it. Oh, it's an awkward pass. It's almost an error.
Don't tell me they have let that go.
They have. The Broncos will reclaim their errant pass and play will continue.
There is no way that did not hit Ezra Mann's hands.
I've got to see a replay.
There won't be one. Biased towards the Brisbane Broncos.
30 seconds to go in the first half. The Storm leading by 10 points. 22-12 on Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus.
He's passed the HAA.
Piakura.
Yep, he has.
And he's back up on the bench for the Broncos as we are about to hear the halftime hooter here at Accor Stadium. 83,000 people. Here goes Shibasaki with the line break. He's got one to go. He runs over Pappenhausen and gets stopped. The Broncos,
last play of the game, half I should say,
barrelling their way to the 20-metre line. Here's Walsh back to the inside. Willison steps past one, spins past another. There's the half-time siren. He is stopped 2 metres out, and they will get stopped agonisingly close here, the Brisbane Broncos.
I tell you what, that last 10, 15 seconds was absolutely sensational for the Brisbane Broncos. A lot of ball movement and nearly went across the line.
Well, I just mentioned Shibasaki's had a quiet first half, and that was some magic from Gemat Shibasaki.
He's, we've already known about his seasons he's had, obviously. Very rarely playing too much first round the last couple of years. Went on to play Origin this year, but he's been in sensational form for a long period of time. But Shibasaki, as you said, been a little bit quiet in his first half for the Brisbane Broncos. I dare say Matt McGuire would be expecting a little bit more of him in the second half, but I didn't see Payne Haas come back on in that first half. I mean, he went off with about maybe 15 to go, but he usually he plays the first 40 minutes, no-brainer, absolutely week in, week out. So I'm not too sure whether there's any injuries around him, but you need for the Brisbane Broncos to be any chance of winning this game of football. He needs to play as much football as he possibly can, which means they need to put him on there in the first half. Well, he needs to basically go back on there after the half-time bell.
Half-time here from Accor Stadium. It's the Melbourne Storm 22, the Brisbane Broncos 12. 4 tries to 2. The try scorers for the Melbourne Storm, Nick Meaney, Eli Katoa, Will Warbrick and Jerome Hughes. While for the Brisbane Broncos, Dean Mariner scored the game's opening try and Reece Walsh probably has the try of the game, if we're being unbiased for about 2 seconds. And back to being biased. So, Robbie, what did you make of the first half?
Well, I'm just just having a look. The boys, the Melbourne Storm crew just got into a little bit of a huddle without Harry Grant. Harry Grant was 10 metres away from the boys in the huddle, and there was a couple of boys coming from the sideline. Not too sure what that was about.
Doing an interview, was he? For the
No, Jerome Hughes was off doing the interview, and Harry Grant was 10 metres away from the huddle. So whether or not they needed a bit of a rev up before Harry gets hold of them, I'm not too sure. But so far, so good. I mean, the Melbourne Storm 10 points in front. I thought it was a fantastic half of football. I just spoke about it. And we spoke about that first try. Brisbane Broncos got across the line without the Melbourne Storm touching the ball. I mean, within the first 3 or 4 minutes, which was maybe a bit of a wake-up call for the Melbourne Storm, because ever since then they've been playing pretty good football. But, big shock. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened. Definitely not this year, where the Melbourne Storm have actually considered a try without touching the ball. But got a couple of leg ups. It was an early penalty, and they got another set of 6 with 20 minutes out, and before you know it, they were across the line. So anyway, ever since then, the Melbourne Storm have been good, and looking forward to the second half of football. What does Craig Bellamy say in there at half time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think 3 of the 4 tries the Melbourne Storm scored all were down on the right edge. So it looks like they're targeted that side. Albrick scored on that side. Meany scored on that side. Katoa was there as well. Hughes was a bit more central.
Yes.
Is there a weakness out there? I mean, obviously, they've seen a weakness. Shibasaki and Karapani are out there on that side defending that wing. The Melbourne Storm look to favour their right side, the left side of the Broncos' defence.
Yeah, as you said, Shibasaki, he seems to be a little bit quiet in that first half of football for the Brisbane Broncos. But that's, I'm talking about in attack. I'm not talking about defensively. He's usually very strong defensively. But as you said, all 4 tries? Jerome Hughes was under the post, but the first 3 tries of that first half of the Melbourne Storm were down that left edge of the Brisbane Broncos. So they're going to have to pull the pants up there and do something about it for sure. But Shibasaki, I think, again, without going too much into the replays, I'm not too sure whether he was at fault or the winger. But, so far so good for the Melbourne Storm.
10-point lead at half-time for the Melbourne Storm, 22-12. This is Storm Radio on SEN, right across the country on the SEN app as well. Brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus. Of course, you can use SEN Sync on the SEN app to synchronise this to the TV images as well. Storm fans, 40 minutes away from potentially winning our 5th premiership. It would be remarkable if they can do it. Of course, it always is remarkable, but
I say 7, Jordan. I say 7.
You still hold on?
Yes, absolutely. 07, 09. Give them back to us.
Yeah.
Come on. But yes, I understand where you're coming from. You got to sit on the fence because you're doing the right thing. But yes, but I look beside me. There's Ryan Hoffman, one of the greats of the Melbourne Storm.
Yes.
He's got all his rings on. He's got 3 or 4 rings on his fingers. I've got none. Anyway, that's fine. I'll move on. But, geez, what a first half of football. I think the Melbourne Storm, I said from day one, they have to get into a real arm wrestle they are to win this game. It didn't look like it within the first 10 minutes. No. The Brisbane Broncos scored within the first 3 or 4 minutes without the Melbourne Storm touching the ball, as I've said a number of times. But they got back on the horse, and they've been playing fantastic football ever since.
It felt like the first 3 tries, maybe 4 tries, were scored without a, from every possession. So each set ended in a try.
Yeah, correct. It wasn't. Usually, you would think that grand finals. You get in an arm wrestle, set for set, set for set.
Yeah, cagey.
Not to be. No. As you said, there was 3 tries, very very simply scored.
All right, half time. We will take a break here on SEN. Storm leading 22-12. We'll come back after this and dissect that first half a little further and bring you the second half next here from Accor Stadium. 80,000 plus in the house with the Melbourne Storm leading. This is Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. Jordan Canellis and the thoughts of Robbie Kearns after this.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
It's time to go big on savings with Metricon's Big Love Sales Event. For a limited time, you can save from $20,000 to $60,000 on their entire range of Freedom and designer homes, like the double-storey 4-bedroom Merricks from under $333,000, giving you savings of $46,000. But hurry, these offers won't last. Search Metricon now. Conditions apply. Excludes site costs. Select build regions. CDBU 52967.
Need truck parts? Get expert service from the team that knows their stuff at Truckline. Whether you've got a Japanese, North American or European truck or trailer, we've got the parts to get you back on the road in no time. From hoses to transmissions and everything in between, we'll get you sorted fast. Truckline keeps Australia's trucks moving. Find your local store at truckline.com.au.
Need to move? Whether it's people, places, product or anything, you can count on Avis for great rates, reliability and experience. They make moving easy. Avis Truck Rentals has the vehicles, whether you're moving 1 bedroom or 5. With trolleys and hydraulic lifts, Avis Truck Rentals will make your moving day stress-free. Don't pay others to do what Avis makes easy. Avis Trucks, utes, vans, buses and 4-wheel drives. With a branch near you, avis.com.au.
Living with diabetes? Ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre. Freestyle Libre is a small wearable sensor that monitors your glucose levels and trends and bangs them straight to your phone. Instant up-to-date feedback. No finger pricks. How good is that? And you can trial Freestyle Libre for only $15. Just head to freestylelibre.com.au to find out how. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use. Read warnings before purchase. Free yourself from finger pricks with Freestyle Libre.
For too long, only institutions had exclusive access to premium investment opportunities. But iPartners changes the game for wholesale investors. iPartners opens up the field to alternative assets with access to opportunities out of reach. Get front row seats to sophisticated investment strategies. iPartners, fund managers specialising in alternative investments, offer the diversification and risk-adjusted returns you need for a long-term outlook. Visit iPartners.com.au and start kicking more investment goals. For wholesale investors only, consider the risks. Learn more at iPartners.com.au.
There's a shed for this and a shed for that. And if you're wondering where the best sheds are at, we just told you. Because the best sheds are simply found at Best Sheds. And their biggest ever shed sale is on now with 30% off the entire range. That's 30% off your dream shed. Their sheds come with a 20-year manufacturer's warranty too, so let's hit the sheds and save a massive 30%. T's and C's apply. Best Sheds, 100% Australian owned and manufactured. Visit bestsheds.com.au.
September in Melbourne means grand final time and an end to the cold winter months. With the warmer weather on the horizon, get adventure ready for a thrilling summer on the water at Melbourne Sea-Doo. They're committed to getting you out on the water to experience the freedom and excitement of your very own Sea-Doo watercraft. Brand new Sea-Doo start at $9,990, so there has never been a better time to hit the water. Visit the team at 300 Wirraway Road, Essendon Fields, or visit melbourneseadoo.com.au.
Please, can you change the music?
But I love this song.
Right, that's it. Hands off the dial.
Relationships are built on compromise, but sleep doesn't have to be. At 40 Winks, our bed match technology can tailor the perfect mattress for you and your partner. Firmer over here, softer over there. We call it My Side. It's 2 beds in 1. So, everybody wins. My Side. Exclusively at 40 Winks. Serious about sleep.
Rugby League lives here. Call 1300 01 1170 or text 0457 736 736. This is the NRL Halftime Show for Rogers Willex, trusted trailer solutions.
The Storm are about 25 metres away, encroaching further inside Brisbane Broncos territory. Harry Grant runs it out of dummy half. Munster passes out to the right. Quick hands from Katoa to Hughes. Now to Pappenhausen. Here goes Meaney, slipping through the tackles. Meaney scores.
What a try from the Melbourne Storm.
Incredible movement from the Melbourne Storm from centre field out to the right side.
It feels like the Melbourne Storm, that was the first opportunity they had within the Brisbane Broncos half, and they made immense of it.
To convert his own try, Nick Meaney, he's 15 metres out, halfway towards the right sideline, so there's a bit of an acute angle. He steps in, one step, sends it, and gets it. Here is Grant, passes out to the left. Munster breaking the tackle, sidestepping a couple, runs into trouble. Another penalty going the Storm's way. They're getting chance after chance here, the Storm. Got to make the most of this. Grant goes in from dummy half, dives for the try line, stopped on the line. The Broncos digging their heels in.
Tackle one.
Melbourne asking the questions. Munster flicks the pass across to Hughes, puts the kick through. Katoa chases. Did he down it in the in goal?
Looks like Eli Katoa looks like he's scored that try for Melbourne Storm. It was play 3, and I think it was Jerome Hughes put that kick through. I thought it might have been too early, but it looked like Melbourne Storm might have scored a try here.
He reckons he has, Eli Katoa. No doubt they'll look at this. The kick from Nick Meaney is all good. The Melbourne Storm go up 12-6 right in front of the goalposts. Grants to Hughes, to Katoa, out the side, cut out pass, Warbrick reaches out, has he got it? Yes, he has. Will Warbrick gets the Storm's third try of the first half.
I thought he might have blown that try then. I thought he might have gone too far.
Oh, he rode the tackles. He was right up against the right sideline, Will Warbrick. He just cut in a little bit to afford himself some space, and he had 3 tacklers angling in at him, trying to bustle him away at the try line. He rode every hit and planted down for the Melbourne Storm. 16-6 is Willison. The Broncos in Storm territory. 40 metres away. Little reverse pass from Tyson Smoothie into Kobe Hetherington. Continues on. The Broncos looking to play this quickly. Here goes Reece Walsh. Through one, through another. That is a great try, admittedly, from Reece Walsh. That's an unbelievable try. The Brisbane Broncos score. They get one back on the Melbourne Storm. The Storm just could not stop Reece Lightning. Biased, I'm filthy. Unbiased, that was a remarkable try from Reece Walsh.
Absolutely.
And now Grant goes short to Hughes. Steps one way, then the other. Jerome Hughes gets a try in the grand final. Jerome Hughes weaving his magic. Half time here from the Core Stadium. Storm Radio, it is 22-12. 83,000 people in to watch, hopefully, the Melbourne Storm win another premiership. We are a little biased here on Storm Radio. That's the whole point of Storm Radio. Brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus here on SEN. Jordan Canellis and Robbie Kearns with you. Half-time show right in front of us. DJ Havana Brown is performing. That's a throwback. Still playing some good tunes as well. Anyway, I digress. Half-time show here is entertaining everyone at a Core Stadium. Some of the numbers from the first half. Firstly, the try scorers for the Melbourne Storm. It was first up Nick Meaney, who got the Storm's first try of the game after the Broncos scored first. Eli Katoa, Will Warbrick and Jerome Hughes, the try scorers for the Storm. While for the Brisbane Broncos, it was Dean Mariner and Reece Walsh, who scored a great try in that first half for the Brisbane Broncos. So 4 tries to 2 in favour of the Melbourne Storm. Some of the numbers from the first half. The player with the most run metres from the Melbourne Storm, Ryan Pappenhausen, with 91 metres. Stefano Utuikamanu has put in a mountain of work, 78 run metres from 8 runs in total. Most tackles for the Melbourne Storm is Harry Grant with 23. Trent Liero doing his defensive duties with 21 tackles in the first half, and Josh King with 18. While for the Brisbane Broncos, it has been the most run metres so far for Gennat Shibasaki, which is surprising given we said he had been a bit quiet. He did pick up a lot of run metres with a couple of minutes to go in that first half. In particular, one which was about nearly 40 metres or so in the final minute of the first half. Reece Walsh, 92 metres from 10 runs total, 83 for Dean Mariner. The tackle count for the Broncos. Patrick Carrigan with 23 tackles. Corey Pakes, the hooker, with 18, and Jordan Ricky with 18 as well. Some of the stats from the first half here for you on Storm Radio. For Host Plus, that's a plus. The Pacific's biggest sporting event returns in 2025, where pride and passion go on the line. Every tackle, every try, every triumph. This is International Rugby League Unleashed. Power, Pride Pacific. The Pacific Championships kicks off on October 18. Secure your tickets at nrl.com/tickets. So as soon as the grand final is done and as soon as the NRL season is completed, we turn our attention to international rugby and the test matches at the end of the season. The Pacific Championships has been a recent addition in the last 3 or so years, and it's been a great addition to the calendar. I've enjoyed watching it most seasons. You get to see not only Australia and New Zealand, but also the likes of Samoa as well, who will feature Melbourne Storm's very own Sua Fa'alongo as their star fullback. So get around the Pacific Championships at the end of the calendar year. The teams are making their way back out from the tunnel at half-time as DJ Havana Brown has completed her set here on Accor Stadium. The Broncos are out there and ready to go. The Melbourne Storm just waiting on them from the first half. So incredible try-scoring frequency really in the first 15 minutes of the first half. Every possession that each team had ended with a try. So the Broncos scored first in the opening 3 minutes through Dean Mariner. Then the Melbourne Storm scored 7 minutes later through Nick Meaney and Eli Katoa after that 15 minutes later to give the Storm the advantage. And then since then the Storm have held their advantage with Will Lawbrick scoring after that and Jerome Hughes, who has been incredible since coming back from his arm injury. Scored last week with a great try in the prelim final, only a couple of weeks out from fracturing his arm. And then getting tries in both the prelim and the grand final. Reece Walsh has been a bit of a handful for the Melbourne Storm. He's obviously scored one try himself, which was a brilliant try, but even setting up other tries, he assisted the Dean Mariner try and helped on more than several occasions to get the Broncos deep into Storm territory. We are just waiting on the Melbourne Storm. They are taking their time coming out of the tunnel. Here they come now. The flags come flying out, and the Melbourne Storm emerge from the tunnel here at Accor Stadium. So 40 minutes to go before rugby immortality is etched into the history books. Will the Melbourne Storm win their 5th premiership, or 7th if you count the 2 that were scratched off from us? Last time out it was against the Penrith Panthers in 2020 that the Storm won their last premiership. For the Brisbane Broncos, they are hoping to end a 19-year drought. 2006 the last time they won a premiership against the Melbourne Storm. On that occasion, of course, they did go down to the Penrith Panthers as well in 2023. So both of these teams vanquished in recent years by the all-conquering Penrith Panthers and hoping to get revenge now as we have kick-off for the start of the second half here at Accor Stadium. And it's the Storm to receive. They will attack the southern end as I welcome back Robbie Kearns for the start of the second half. Robbie, what do you foresee happening here in the second half at Accor?
Well, I'm hoping that Melbourne Storm will do exactly what I thought they'd do in the first half, which was get into an arm wrestle with the Brisbane Broncos, set for set, and kick it long and defend it. And that's, fingers crossed, exactly what's going to happen. But we can't play flash football. We're 10 points in front, and we've seen in the first half the Brisbane Broncos can score anywhere on the park.
Brought to you by Seek. For the best job matches, download the Seek app. Seek and you shall find. What was the matchup that the Melbourne Storm got on top of in the first half?
I think the forwards. I think the Melbourne Storm forwards did well. We saw Payne Haas. I mentioned him a couple of times. He's still on the bench. He's not back out there. He played the first 30-odd minutes. I think they got the better of the Brisbane Broncos forward pack there. So in the first half, yeah. So I'm thinking the Melbourne Storm forwards did the right thing and played a great game of 40 minutes football in the first half.
Melbourne Storm quick set to start things off. Kick goes down into the Broncos half, and the Broncos begin from their own 20. Here comes Dean Mariner, the opening try scorer of the game, at his own 30-metre line now. Xavier Willison starts the second half on field. Started on the bench, the number 16. Here's Ezra Mam as well. Over to Kanat Shibasaki, who's trying to break his way through the tackles and gets the Broncos up to halfway. Here is the last tackle for the Broncos. The kick goes down into the corner and out of play on full.
It's like a bit of pressure there from Joshy King onto Adam Reynolds, and ball out on the full. The ball come back just past the halfway line for the mighty Melbourne Storm. I'll tell you what I did see in the first half, though, a little bit of expansive football from the Melbourne Storm. It just wasn't 1 out or 2 out. It was they threw the ball around a fair bit, and looks like they started the second half exactly the same way. The more flamboyant they are, the more dangerous they look.
Everyone making their way back to their seats for the second half here at Stadium Australia. The Melbourne Storm in possession and in Broncos territory. It's Tui Kamikamica who has it right now. The Storm are 22 metres away from scoring. Here's Grant over to Munster, now to Sean Bloor. He's inside the 10, taking some tackles with him, dragging them along for the ride. The Storm will go short side to Grant. He was looking towards Tyron Wishart, who gets stopped 2 metres away, 1 metre away, Tyron Wishart. Harry Grant will come infield again. Here's Munster. He'll put a little kick through for Kamikamatha. Who did he get it? The ball came free.
He's got his hand up, but I don't know whether he got that ball down.
Did he get it down? He is celebrating Tui Kamikamatha.
He got this ball down. This is an absolute miracle from Tui Kamikamatha. I can't even pronounce his name. I'm that excited.
We need the replay for this one. Big Tui might have a try.
It looked like he dropped the ball from a distance.
It did. Oh, did it come loose? The replay shows us, did he get a fingertip to it, or did he lose his grasp? Oh, he lost his grasp.
No, Reece Walsh, what a tackle.
It came out of his hands, literally with about 2 centimetres to go before being touched down to earth.
No.
If you get on tackle 5, it'll be tackle 6.
Fantastic tackle there from Reece Walsh there. It'll come back 20 minutes.
Feet or kick chase in all aspects of play leading up to this. The contact is okay on Reece Walsh. Tui Kamikamatha loses the ball over the try line. We have a decision.
Just wait penalty when...
Geez, that was a lot closer than what I thought. I thought he dropped it from all money there, but I tell you what, that would have been nice.
There we go. No try officially. You heard the referees chatting to each other through the ref mics, and decision made. So no try for the Melbourne Storm. Scores remain 22-12 here at Accor Stadium.
Geez, Fiji would have went up as a whole.
Absolutely. Can you imagine? Big Tui almost had a try on the grand final. It's the Brisbane Broncos back in possession. The Storm still with the 10-point leads. A couple of minutes into the second half. Here's Carrigan, centre field, gets over halfway. The Broncos up to tackle 3. A short pass to the inside for Kobe Hetherington, and now for Ezra Mann, who gets away from Meaney and then fends off King. Keeps this tackle alive, Ezra Mann. Runs into the line. That was a bone-rattling hit from Tui Kamikamatha and Sean Blaw on Ezra Mann.
I tell you what, he's so strong, Ezra.
The Broncos advance it 10 further metres from Williston up to the 30-metre line. Tackle 5, the high kick from Reynolds all the way down to the goalpost. Pappenhausen leaps up, almost took a spectacular catch.
Hold on, is that a tackle without the ball?
Gets up holding his elbow as well, Ryan Pappenhausen. So what's the call here from the referee? Pappenhausen nearly took an Alex Jezelenko mark down at the 10-metre line. That was huge from Pappy, but he didn't.
I think I don't know. It could go either way this way. Harry Grant's questioned the actual decision. It looked like his legs were taken out from him. Looks like his legs were taken out from him.
That's a very good call.
With Reece Walsh.
Yeah. So it's going to be a scrum, but it's going to be a Broncos feed. So right in front of the goalpost here, the Broncos are 10 metres out from scoring, deep in Melbourne Storm's defensive half.
As we look down to the sideline, we see Jack Howarth back on the bench. He looks okay. He hasn't got any jumpers on, so he looks like he's ready to go.
Broncos, here's 6 again. There goes the bell. Reynolds to Ezra Mann. They want to attack the left side. Gennett Shibasaki gets to the try line and scores for the Brisbane Broncos.
I'll tell you what, that is poor defence from the Melbourne Storm. Really poor defence.
Yeah, that was easy for the Broncos.
Too easy. We're talking grand finals. That was our right-hand defence there. Big Willie Walbrick. Meaning. Very poor defence there.
Third try of the game for the Brisbane Broncos. And
Ezra Mann.
They score it 6 minutes into the second half.
Talk about gotta be better. Shibasaki. We spoke about him being very quiet in the first half. Comes out in the first 5 minutes of Melbourne in the second half and scores against the Melbourne Storm in the first 8 minutes in the second half.
Gennett Shibasaki has been one of the revelations of the Broncos season, has been in the NRL system for about 8 years, but really never got a go. That's some of the teams he was at earlier. Played 2 games for the Cowboys, 1 game for the Rabbitohs. Was at Brisbane actually early in his career, but this has been his breakout campaign at the age of 27, and the Brisbane Broncos, through that, edge their way a little closer to the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a, as you just mentioned, a bit of a Cinderella story about Shibasaki. Yeah, he's a crazy name, but mate, yeah, Cinderella story. He's been nowhere for a long period of time, and this year had a breakout year playing for Origin, the Queensland Origin, the victorious Queensland Origin side. Scores a try. 7 minutes in the second half here for Brisbane Broncos in the 2025 Grand Final.
Adam Reynolds missed the kick, so it's 22-16 the score for the Melbourne Storm. So one try the difference, one converted try the difference to be exact. 6 points the difference here at the Grand Final. We are still early stages into the second half. We've gone 7.5 minutes into the second half. The Storm have led since scoring 2 tries in the opening 15 minutes after the Broncos scored the first of the game. Here's Ben Hunt at dummy half. Short pass to Shibasaki now, who's starting to feel his way into the contest. And a couple of line breaks late in the first half. He's got his try now, again at Shibasaki. The Broncos are at their own 40-metre line.
Yeah, they're getting out of their own half way too easy, the Brisbane Broncos. Last tackle on the 50-metre line.
Here comes the kick. Reynolds will put a little dinky kick through, looking for some territory. Gets it down towards Xavier Coates, who comes around, sweeps past Pappenhausen, collects it inside his own 10, and gets tackled at the 10-metre line for the Storm.
Yeah, I love that little buffer. 10 points was that little buffer. Obviously, they had to score twice to get past this, and they've already scored once. So there's one converted try between them, 6 points. But I love that little 10-point buffer.
Melbourne Storm going to the far sideline underneath the Kathy Freeman stand here at McCall Stadium. Here's Sean Blore, who steps through the Katoni Stags tackle and gets past the 30. Munster to Liero, playing infield here, the Melbourne Storm. He backs his way into the tackles, Liero, taken down by Willison and Hetherington. Grant over to Hughes, last tackle. Kicks long and direct all the way down inside the 10. Backing back is Karapanis, lost his footing for a second, gets back up and now takes off. Runs to the Storm line and is swallowed up by 3 tacklers.
I've been mentioning him for the last 10 minutes, but Big Jackie Howarth on the bench. He must have some type of injury if he's staying on the bench and Tyrone Wish out there in the centres.
The Broncos are at their own 30. Tackle number 3 coming up. Here's Carrigan to Mam. Passes to Walsh. Here goes Reece Walsh. Everyone's alert all of a sudden. He's taken down at the 50-metre line. Gets the play the ball off quickly. Corey Pakes is back on. Gives it over to Hetherington, who's trying to step through the tackles. Offloads. Ezra Mam received it from Piakura, who's back on from his head knock in the first half. Corey Pakes to play the ball. Here comes the kick from Hunt. Goes cross-field to the right sideline. Coates is underneath it. It's a 0-0 draw between the 2 aerial battlers, and it is a whistle blown, and it's going to be a Melbourne Storm ball, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's going to be a captain's challenge here.
And Adam Reynolds is hobbling off the field here, Robbie.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a leg injury there. I'm not too sure whether he's calf or he's re-injured that hamstring. I'm not too sure. But it doesn't look in a good way, actually. The little general for the Brisbane Broncos, number 7, who's had a fantastic game so far. They've taken this play back 3 or 4 tackles to where Harry Grant had an accidental trip. It may sound a little bit biased here, ladies and gentlemen, but accidental trip of Ezra Mann. Yeah, poor old Adam Reynolds is getting around the back of the goalpost. Dead ball line there.
The injury for Jack Howarth is a groin injury. The groin injury for Jack Howarth, they don't believe he'll return to the game tonight. He's on the bench at the moment, but he might just be spectating the game from there for the rest of the evening. So the Broncos, through Willison, are now looking to try and tie this game up. They are 3 metres away here, the Brisbane Broncos. Willison in front of the posts. Pakes across to Hunt, trying to burst his way through Piakura. Good run. He forces the Storm all the way back to their goal line. comes back infield again. Hunt over to Hetherington, taken down.
Last tackle.
Floating around 5 metres away here, the Broncos. Got to make this one count. Here's Mann. Puts the kick through. Pappenhausen's there. He will be tackled inside his own in goal. Dropout coming up.
Geez, he doesn't look in a good way, Adam Reynolds, does he?
No, he's hopping bad.
Really bad, as in get the many being over there for him. He's had to walk 400 metres with a broken leg. Kick it long, boy, and he's going a short kick off here. Something I despise of.
Makes it past the 10, bounces off the Broncos, collected by Hunt at the Storm 20-metre line. So 20 metres of football to play here for the Brisbane Broncos. Jordan Ricky gets it up to 12 metres away here. The Storm leading 22-16. The Broncos are in Storm territory. If they score a try and convert, it's tied up in the grand final. Here's Willison at the play the ball. Pakes at dummy half. Across to Walsh. Sidestepping one way then the other. Gets away from King. Darts around one. Cuts back past the other. Escapes Katoa's tackle. Passes away to Mann. 6 again. Mann bounces off one tackle. Now Katoa takes Mann to ground.
Why was that 6 again? I have no idea.
Looked like there was no foul. No infringement in the play. Carrigan to Hunt. They go again here. Oh, they just had to take him down, and they do. It was Munster with an ankle tackle on Jordan Ricky. And now Xavier Willison is marching his way in. He will be held up in the in goal.
He's a beast of a man, Willison. I don't know how big he is, but he's a huge customer.
He's 2 metres, 199 centimetres, 114 kilos. Jesus. That is a large human being. So they'll come again here, the Broncos. 10 metres away. Katoni Staggs offloads. Back to Mann. Now down the right sideline. Comes back infield. Willison wriggles his way forwards. The Broncos 2 metres out. Pakes will make up some ground with a backwards pass deep to Hunt. Further deep to Carrigan. Now to Walsh. He flings a long cut-out pass down to Karapani, who will run it in. And the Brisbane Broncos are within one score. They are within a converting kick of tying the game.
No, it's been called back. It's been called back. The referee's called something back here. I'm not too sure what it was.
We need a replay of this.
It was a forward ball? I don't think it was a forward ball either.
No, I reckon it was. Reece Walsh is behind the line of the 10 metres. By the time the ball gets to Karapani, he's on the 10.
Yeah. No.
Went 2 metres forward, that pass from Reece Walsh.
Bit of a leg up there for the Melbourne Storm. Looks like it was going to go to a even score line. So Storm in front of their own posts, get the scrum feeds, and they escape damage. Here goes Will Warbrick trying to cause damage by running into the line and taking bodies with him. Jeez, I tell you what, the first 15 minutes of this second half, the Brisbane Broncos are all over the Melbourne Storm. I tell you what, we need to pick our game up if we're going to go on with this.
They have started hot out of the blocks here, the Brisbane Broncos. The Storm lead by 1 converted try, 22-16, 6 points of difference. In the second half, we've played about 12 minutes in the second half.
We spoke about, I've been talking about him all day, Payne Haas. I thought he might have an injury, the fact that he's spent so much time on the sidelines.
Has there been a turnover here?
But he looks like he's coming back in with 26 minutes to go for the Brisbane Broncos.
The Broncos have the ball back on the halfway line. Here goes Karapani. He makes up 8 metres. They are 42 metres away here, the Broncos. Storm lead by 6. Payne Haas is back on. Gets the big hit up and drives it forwards. Corey Pakes at dummy half. Now to Carrigan, the other middle forward playing alongside Haas. Gets the offload quickly and they juggle it around here, the Broncos. Mam draws the tacklers and gives it to Piakura. They are 20 metres away, the Broncos. Storm have to dig in defence. Big defensive stop needed here by the Storm on Storm Radio in the 2025 NRL Grand Final. They are 10 metres away now, the Broncos. Takes it to play the ball. Ben Hunt, short pass to Carrigan, who gets taken down in an ugly tackle. It was all clean, it just was messy. There were limbs flying everywhere. Munster pushes Pakes to play the ball, and now there's space down the right side, and the Broncos will score. Dean Mariner gets his second try. There was open space on the right edge. And this time they won't be disallowed to try the Brisbane Broncos. They were knocking on the door, they were asking the right questions, and the Storm couldn't cope.
15 minutes down in the second half. I've spoken about it before. The Brisbane Broncos are all over the Melbourne Storm in this second half. They have not, like Melbourne Storm they've fallen asleep in the... geez, we had numbers there too. I'll tell you what, we talk about specialist positions. Tyne Wishart on that left-hand side. Caught out bad there. Xavier Coates shouldn't have come in. Yeah. That's a poor read from Tyne Wishart and Xavier Coates. Really poor read, and looks like it's going to go. As I said, first 15 minutes of the second half, the Brisbane Broncos all over the Melbourne Storm. We need to pick their game up if we're going to be any chance for this Premiership 2025.
So the margin is now 2 points. The conversion is still to come. It's going to be a tough one here. No Adam Reynolds as well. So Reece Walsh will take the kick. He's scored plenty of points this season as the man to deputise Adam Reynolds. It is about 5 metres in from the right sideline, and he'll be kicking from 35 metres out.
Is that Mariner's second try? I think it is. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Scored the game's opening try, Dean Mariner. And now Reece Walsh to tie the game at 22 points apiece. He steps in, left-footed strike, looks all right, then fades out late and misses.
A little bit of a bonus there for Melbourne Storm at 23 minutes to play. As I said, we need to pick our game up. We have left our game in the sheds at half-time. I've not seen anything from Melbourne Storm in the second half. High-scoring game, 22 points to 20. And the Brisbane Broncos looking at goods here in the second half.
So the Storm still clinging on to a lead. It's a 2-point ball game. 22-20 here on Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. And the Storm need to manufacture something to try and level out the momentum, because it's swinging in the Broncos' favour right now in the second half.
I see Adam Reynolds walking back out from the sheds on crutches, so there's no chance he's coming back onto here tonight.
Yeah, bad leg injury for Adam Reynolds, the 35-year-old, the captain of the Brisbane Broncos. So the kick-off from the Storm, the Broncos have to pick it up in the end goals, a deep kick. They are 15 out from their own try line here, the Broncos. Ricky takes it to play the ball, now to Payne Haas, gets over the 20-metre line, tackled by Meaney. Ezra Mann, first receiver, fakes the pass, makes extra meterage and gets up to the 40.
He's not too far off Reece Walsh when it comes to excitement, Ezra Mann.
He is very fast, Ezra Mann, and tricky. Here is Reece Walsh, speaking of, goes down the right edge, takes a tackle with him, gives it to Katoni Staggs, full of running here, the Brisbane Broncos. It's Dean Mariner who gets stopped at the 20, but they've made up a lot of ground there, the Broncos. They are 20 metres away.
Last tackle.
What can they do on the last tackle here, the Broncos? Mam to Walsh. Deep cut out pass to Shibasaki. He's got Karapani there. Shibasaki will go his own way. He'll find the gap, and he puts the Broncos in front.
That read is absolutely, I mean, I might sound biased, but Nick Meaney and Will Warbrick, that was the last tackle. All they had to do was get up in their face. Poor read, poor read. I'm not too sure what to say here, Jordan. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. The second half of football.
It is 3 tries in the second half for the Brisbane Broncos. Kenneth Shibasaki, we spoke about his reasonably quiet first half, but he's come out and scored 2 already in the second half. And the Broncos are in front. It's 24-22, the kick to come.
21 minutes of play. The Melbourne Storm, Craig Bellamy would be pulling his hair out in the box, the coach's box. They just have not come back in the second half. They're a different side than what they were in the first 40 minutes, Jordan.
Oh, yeah, this is completely different from the Broncos. This is high pace.
Just looks like they've got no energy. Well, tides have turned. Melbourne Storm have to pull their finger out there any chance in the second half.
So the Broncos in front, and Reece Walsh is going to try his best to extend that here with a kick from the opposite side of the field to where they scored last. So they scored on the right edge the previous try from Dean Mariner. Now the left edge for Ganache Basaki. 25-metre kick from Reece Walsh. 5 metres in from the sideline. Reece Walsh, left-footed kick, steps in. This one looking good. And he extends the Broncos' lead. 26-22 is the current scoreline.
Geez, Craig Donnelly wouldn't be happy with that defensive effort. Absolutely not. And I know we're out of position here. I know I'm talking about Big Jackie Howarth on the left-hand side there, but that try there was scored on our right-hand side with Nick Meaney and Will Warbrick. Very disappointing.
So, Melbourne Storm have to think of something quickly and problem solve on the fly because they've conceded 3 tries in the space of 20 minutes and they've given up their leads. They led by 10 points at half-time, 22-12, and now they trail by 4 points, 26-22, the current scoreline. Storm Radio for Host Plus, that's a plus. There's still time, though. That is the good thing. Time is on the Storm side. It's only a 4-point difference. There's 20 minutes still to play in the grand final. 1/4 of the game to go.
Geez, I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, and they're just blowing each other off the park. 22 points for Melbourne Storm and 26 for the Brisbane Broncos. We pride ourselves on our defence, but not tonight. We've been absolutely hopeless.
Ezra Mann to Katoni Staggs, who is now... Pardon me, that was Pia Kura, but both Pia Kura and Staggs on that left edge are working into the game with Ganache Basaki. Long kick from Hunt is a wobbly one. It'll bounce once in front of Pappenhausen. He'll collect it and pass quickly to Coates. The charge down came from the Broncos quickly. Coates is stopped for the first tackle in front of his own 10 metres. Tyron Wishart takes over from Ryan Pappenhausen.
The Melbourne Storm players, there's 5 players behind the Brisbane Broncos defensive line here. They're out on their feet. Absolutely out on their feet. As we said, with one man down with Jackie Howarth more than likely not coming back.
Only Katoa, a nice offload to keep the play going. Here's Meaney. He's done well to get up to halfway. He's done very well, Nick Meaney. Tackle number 4. The Storm at the halfway line. Here's Hughes. Passes to his left for Munster. Fakes the pass to Bloor. Finds Pappenhausen. Using the left edge. Has it been cut off? It has. Tapped down by the Broncos. Intercepted and won back. The Broncos regain possession on their own 30-metre line. And they'll look to get some post-contact metres as well on the first tackle. That was Katoni Staggs who got up to the halfway line, and now Dean Mariner gets over halfway, and in a flash, the Broncos are inside Melbourne Storm territory. Takes to the infield for Walsh. Finds Carapani, who's come in and playing narrow at the moment, alongside the fullback in centre field. Pakes that dummy half. Here's Reece Walsh again, threatening to get past Adavalu Lazard, who's come on. The Broncos are now 20 metres out. Here's Payne Haas. Barnstorms his way past Munster, breaking tackles and getting taken down 15 metres out. The Broncos have a head full of steam here, Robbie.
Last tackle.
Mann tried to put a kick through. Jordan Ricky will try and chase it down, and that set comes to nothing for the Broncos.
Time's ticking away here, 18 minutes to go. And the Broncos 4 points in front. It's not over, but geez, I tell you what, Melbourne Storm have to pull their finger out. They have been nothing in the second half.
The Storm start a new set inside their own 10. Will Warbrick is toiling away hard, carrying the defence with him up to the 20-metre line. Here's Wishart, who gets tackled heavily by Hunt. Grant over to Munster. Thought about Stefano, goes to Hughes instead. Now to Pappenhausen. Eli Katoa fakes the pass to the right side, holds onto it instead and takes the tacklers. Melbourne Storm look tired. They are gassed. There are players with hands on hips out there. Here's Jerome Hughes. Melbourne Storm up to halfway. The Brisbane Broncos have come from 10 points down to lead by 4 points in the grand final.
I want to see a little bit more from Munster. Our man Money, I backed him for the Clive Churchill, but he's been very quiet in his first 60 minutes of football.
The set ends for the Melbourne Storm. The high kick goes up and Dean Mariner makes the catch. Broncos at their own 20. Here's Reece Walsh. Full of vigour, Reece Walsh trying to sidestep the tackles. Tiptoeing through the tulips and gets taken down from his 25 from his own line, and he's popped one high here. Reece Walsh is holding his right eye. Here's the replay. And it wasn't Sean Bloor, it was a hand that came in late right across the face of Reece Walsh.
Surely not going to penalise that, and the referee's done the right thing there.
I think it was Liero who
play on. It's just, I might have copped the finger to the eye.
Yeah, poke in the eye. Takes.
I'm a little bit shell-shocked here, Jordan. I'm not saying too much, but I'm shell-shocked. The Melbourne Storm, I just want to see a little bit more from every one of them.
Looks like the Storm are shell-shocked as well. There just hasn't been as much life in this second half from the Storm. Certainly not in comparison to what the Broncos have shown us. Tackle 5, Broncos. High kick towards Warbrick, who takes the catch from his 5 metres from his own line. Tries to make up some ground, gets taken down and tackled inside his own 10. The Melbourne Storm will try and go infields. Pappenhausen decides to hold it instead. Grants flicks the pass across to Pappenhausen, who collects. He's 25 metres out from his own try line, centre field. The Storm want to use the left edge. Munster with the handoff to Coates, I beg your pardon, who gets past one tackle, sees a gap, aims for it, runs through it, gets tackled. Melbourne Storm at their own 40. Now it's with Liero, who's taking some contact with him, and the Storm have gone through their set, tackle 5, and they only got up to halfway. Jerome Hughes, the kick goes down towards Karapani, who takes the catch, flips the tackle, sees a hole, runs through it, tackled by Warbrick. The Broncos are finding holes in the Melbourne line.
Yeah, we just seem like we're gassed. We've got no Katoni Staggs.
Here you go, Staggs. If you can find the gap, Tyron Wishart with the desperation tackle around the ankles of Katoni Staggs. He gets the wrap around from Karapani, who's overlapping down the right sideline. The Broncos are 40 metres out. They're inside Storm territory. Walsh, short handoff to Jensen. He is stopped 35 metres away, the Broncos. Carrigan. Broncos are moving forward again. Mann feigns the pass, holds it, tackled 30 metres away. They continue to encroach here, the Broncos. Walsh's kick is a short one, caught on the full by Pappenhausen. And so the Storm take over. Pappenhausen puts his head through the gap and is taken down 20 metres out.
Defensively in this second half, the Melbourne Storm haven't made any inroads whatsoever into the Brisbane Broncos defensive line.
I don't know if there's been much possession in the front half, has there? In the second half?
Absolutely not. There's less than 15 minutes to go. Melbourne Storm have to do something sooner rather than later.
The Broncos lead 26-22. The Storm had led 22-12 at half-time. The Broncos have scored 3 tries in the second half to come from behind to lead now by 4 points. 15 minutes to play, as you said, Robbie. Munster to Hughes, now to Katoa, over to Meaney. His pass goes through the legs of Warbrick, who's got the sideline closing in, and he's taken down at the sideline by the Broncos. Tackle laid by Ezra Mann. The Broncos portion of the crowd goes up.
It's disappointing, Melbourne Storm. I mean, they've got a chance around a little bit here, but that was just... Ezra Mann. A little bit of arrogance there from Ezra.
80,233 is the crowd figure. 80,233 here at Stadium Australia.
For Karapani. Tackle 1. Gisler. Independent of plastic please, mate. Karapani.
You heard the call there from Grant Atkins. Karapani is being told to make his way from the field, presumably for a HIA. So play will be stopped until he is removed. 13 and a half minutes to play in the grand final. It's 5 tries to 4 in favour of the Brisbane Broncos. Shibasaki and Mariner both have 2 tries for the Broncos. Reece Walsh has 1. Warbrick, Meaney, Hughes and Katoa, the try scorers for the Melbourne Storm.
So Payne Haas actually dropped the ball there in the plater ball. Bit of a leg up for the Melbourne Storm, 40 metres out.
This is one of the rare occasions that they'll have possession inside Brisbane's territory.
Brisbane Broncos seem to be in this second half, seem to be playing a lot better brand of football, non-mistakes. I should say no mistakes. So Melbourne Storm putting on a play here from it's a 4-on-3.
So scrum right in the middle of the core stadium. Pappenhausen out the back, fakes the pass. Pappenhausen's away. Ryan Pappenhausen passes backwards and it's lost. He was 5 metres away, Ryan Pappenhausen. He knew he would be tackled. He passed it behind his back. The Storm lost the ball. The Broncos take over.
Oh my God. Chance gone begging there for the Melbourne Storm. Very similar, not too dissimilar to 2020 when Ryan Pappenhausen scored that runaway try. But Reece Walsh in pursuit was always going to get hold of him. Possibly should have gone to the ground and caught the tackle.
Why didn't he take the tackle, Robbie?
Play 1.
He was through. Pappenhausen, one of the rare line breaks for the Storm against this stout Broncos defence. He was 5 metres away and tried to flick it out the back, open palm.
Silly play there from Ryan Pappenhausen.
Broncos tackle 5 here for Brisbane. They kick it down in the direction of Warbrick, who makes the catch at his own 10. Runs in on a diagonal towards the 20. And he's met hard by Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan.
Looks like the Brisbane Broncos have a little bit of wind in their sails here. They're getting their defensive line, the speed of the line is as good as it is at the start. Oh,
wow.
John Wishart just gets ragged on with Wilson.
Tried to escape Willison, and Willison threw him around like a toy.
Jeez, that was
So it's Hughes, the Storm at their own 30. It's the Broncos who lead 26-22. Here's Pappenhausen left edge. Short pass to Wishart. He's taken down 40 metres out from his own try line, 10 metres away from halfway.
Playing out of position, young Wishy. He's in the centres over there.
Jerome Hughes, the kick on tackle 5. Walsh lets it hit his body and stops the ball to control it cleanly. He runs at the Storm defensive line and he's taken down at his own 20 for the Broncos. The Broncos have the lead. It's a 4-point ball game and there's 10.5 minutes to go in the grand final. They've come from 10 points down, the Broncos. 3 tries back to back to back in the space of about 13 minutes earlier in this second half. They've got the lead. What can the Storm do in the dying stages of the season decider? Ezra Mann taken down by the collar. Offloads to Willison. The Broncos are at halfway. It's tackle 3, make it tackle 4 coming up now. 50 metres to play for the Broncos. Pakes over to Haas. Running on the angle, Payne Haas. He gets tackled 33 metres away. Tackle 5, the kick comes in from Ben Hunt. Pappenhausen underneath it, catches cleanly on his own try line. Steps away, slips over, gets back up. Tackled high by Carrigan, surely. No whistle.
No.
Now it comes. It's a rocket
it was definitely a high shot there, and the referee can play that, but he's got him for an interference.
So it'll be Storm ball.
They need to do something. They need to do it quick, the Melbourne Storm.
They'll be able to buy some extra metres here from the penalty kick. Into touch from Jerome Hughes. Goes over at around the 30-metre line. So they start from their own 30 here, the Melbourne Storm. Who can be the man here, Robbie? 10 minutes to go, just under.
He's had quite a very well. He's had a quiet game so far, but I want to see Munster have a breakout here. I've been talking about him all week. He would be my Clyde, but He's been very, very quiet. There's 10 minutes to go here, and less than 10 minutes to go. And he's got to. I think he's going to be the man to change the Melbourne Storm here.
Here he is, Munster, short pass to Will Warbrick. So 8.5 minutes to go. The difference is 1 try. If the Storm score a try, the game is level. If they convert that try, they'll be in front by 2 points. This game is on a knife's edge. This is Storm Radio for Host Plus. That's a plus. The game has been stopped here by the referee.
Benny Hunt looks like he's been concussed. He's tried to come back from a... So he got his head in the wrong spot, a hip. He's a tough little bug. He's tried to get up, but he's going sideways.
Yeah, he doesn't know where he is.
Geez, what a play he's been for the Brisbane Broncos. Not only the Brisbane Broncos, I mentioned earlier on, he's had many wonderful years down there at the St. George Illawarra Dragons. They need him to go off. He doesn't want to go off, but he needs to go off. He doesn't know where he is. He's in go-go land.
So that's their 2 starting halves out of the game. Adam Reynolds with a leg injury and Ben Hunt's out concussed.
It looks like he's not going to come back on. I think it's a 10-minute rule anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
So that's Ben Hunt's done, who could be redeeming himself for the error that he made in the 2015 Grand Final, which the knock-on at the start of Golden Point, which led to the North Queensland Cowboys scoring that remarkable extra point, that Golden Point to win. He might be about to win a premiership. Ben Hunt, the Melbourne Storm, will look to try and prevent him from doing so.
Looks like it's the last tackle here. Is it last tackle? He's got his hand. Oh, no, 6 to go. Last.
As you heard, last call. Here's Hughes. Passes out the back to Pappenhausen. They're inside the 20-metre line here, the Melbourne Storm. Pappenhausen tackled.
I didn't know whether the Melbourne Storm thought that was a 5th tackle.
I don't think they knew.
No. I played like it was a 3rd or 4th.
You definitely heard Grant Atkins say last.
Yeah, absolutely.
He made the call, the referee.
Melbourne Storm's bad there, not the refs.
So they turn the ball over at the end of the sets. The Broncos begin at their own 20.
Tell you what, there's been a mistake-free second half of football from the Brisbane Broncos.
The Broncos have the lead. There is 7 minutes 45 to go at Accor Stadium. 80,000 people in to watch this. The 4th ever time there's been no New South Wales teams in the grand final. The last time these 2 sides met in the grand final was 2006. The Broncos won that day as well. Here's Pappenhausen after the kick on tackle 5. He gets the Storm to begin at their own 30.
Time is ticking. 7:30 to go.
The Storm need to produce their best for the final 7 minutes of the season to try and win this game.
Yeah, I'm just looking down at the Melbourne Storm boys. They have hands on hips. They're blowing like bloody... Yeah, I won't say it.
They're blowing. Alec McDonald is on. Munster finds Hughes. The Pappenhausen flicks the pass out the back to Meaney. Gets over the 40-metre line. They are inside Broncos territory. Tackle number 5 coming up. Here's Grant, runs it out of dummy half. He runs laterally over the 30, passes long out towards Munster, then out towards Wishart. Inside the 20, gets taken down.
Last tackle now.
This is last tackle. 20 metres away, the Storm. Munster will put a short kick up. Down the short side, looking for Coates. Goes up, Walsh bats it down. Wishart misses it, and diving onto it is Tyson Smoothie.
Geez, I thought that came off a Brisbane Bronco, but obviously not.
Tyson Smoothie dives on the grenade, and the Broncos regain possession. Broncos have the ball. They're up to the 40-metre line of their own half. That's centre field. Willison has stepped into the game in the second half in a big way.
The Melbourne Storm just need to show a little bit of energy here with 5 minutes remaining, 6 minutes remaining. Time is ticking away. They have to do something special.
Mam on the NRL logo, passes short inside. Jensen gets up to the 30-metre line. The Broncos inside the Storm half. Carrigan to Mam, out towards Smoothie. He's got space down the right side to find Ricky. Passes.
Geez, that was lucky.
Wow, gee, that was, yeah.
Lucky for the Melbourne Storm. The left-hand side of the Melbourne Storm's defensive line was in tatters. Trigon begging for the Brisbane Broncos.
An error on the pass towards Jordan Ricky, and so the Storm take over. Storm back in possession in their own half, at their own 20.
Getting down to the 5-minute mark.
5 minutes to go and just under 80 metres to go to try and score that try for the Melbourne Storm. They've been kept scoreless in the second half here in Melbourne. Hughes to find Pappenhausen. Is there a gap? Goes down the right. Will Warbrick finds some space down the right. He's tackled inside the 30. The field has shifted. The Storm are in their attacking half. Here's Big Stefano. Taken down. Oh, he's lost it, Stefano. It's come out of his grasp. The Brisbane Broncos take over and they will run it back to halfway. The second time in the second half that the Storm have broken free and they've made the error. The play's going to come back, but it's Brisbane possession.
Oh, that looked... Will Warbrick, if he just broke that tackle from Ezra Mann...
Stefano Utuikamanu was trying to offload. And I think it hit the back of the head of the tackler. There is a captain's challenge here.
To Melbourne Storm?
Hasn't left his hand.
Must have. Is it a high shot? Is that what he's contesting?
What are they trying to contest here? This could be a game-changing moment.
There's high contact from Ezra Mann on Stefano Utuikamanu. This is a penalty. The challenge is successful.
So I got a mark off you.
Big call.
Wow, this is a big call.
Big call with 4 minutes to go.
Penalty.
That.
It's high contact. It's high contact.
Oh, yeah, it was a shoulder into the back of the head almost from Ezra Mann on Stefano.
Well, as we know, we need to go for the try here because we are 4 points behind.
I'm just waiting for the referee to tidy that up, but yes, it's going to be Melbourne Storm ball. High tackle, Melbourne Storm ball. They get a penalty going their way and they are 20 metres away from scoring, halfway inside the Broncos territory.
The way this second half's been going, if we need to do something now...
Oh, they've got not much time left, Robbie. This is it. 4 minutes to go, and they are 20, make that 15 metres away here, the Melbourne Storm.
They're going to get 2 sets. This is their first of 2.
A try will tie the game. Harry Grant to Jerome Hughes. Big moments here for the Storm. Cam Munster attacks the line. He's taken at the 10. 10 metres away for the Melbourne Storm. They have been gifted a reprieve here, Melbourne. Here's Alec McDonald, gets 5 metres. He gets taken down 3 metres away. In front of the goalposts here, the Melbourne Storm. A try will tie things up. Grant goes back to the 10 for Hughes. Over to Pappenhausen. Flicks it back towards Meaney. He's swarmed, going nowhere. 10 metres away. A whistle for a tackle after the pass. Hold your breath, Melbourne. 3.5 minutes to go. And the Storm have a late, potentially game-changing opportunity here.
Let's go, boys. Come on.
They're down by 4 points.
Stefano,
who made the error earlier. He attacks the Brisbane line. He's in front of the goalposts. 5 metres to go. Grant, long cut out pass to Munster. Diverts his run back infield. Holds it for a bit. Thinks about offloading. Does. Now to Grant again. Wants to go it himself, Harry Grant. Looking for the goalposts. He gets stopped and folded down by Carrigan. Out of dummy half, Munster. Finds Hughes. Passes to Pappenhausen. To the left. Wishart towards Coates. He is stopped and taken out of play. Xavier Coates is muscled out over the sideline with 2.5 minutes to go.
Brisbane Broncos have just won the 2025 Grand Final by the looks of things. I know there's still 2 minutes to play, but that was...
He was tight roping that left sideline, Xavier Coates. He ran into 3 Broncos players and they muscle him out over with ball in his possession. The Broncos have it, and now there's a scuffle that's broken out. 10 metres away in front of the goalposts. They have to be separated here. There's a few trainers on the field. The touch judges have come in. Frustration now boiling over for the Storm, who have been outplayed in the second half. There is 2 minutes to go. The clock has stopped for the time being while this is sorted out.
2 minutes ago, the Melbourne Storm's second half performance has been very, very poor. No energy. Line speed terrible. Decision making bad.
The Brisbane Broncos knocked out the Penrith Panthers, the 4-time reigning premiers, last week, and now they are 2 minutes away from winning their 7th premiership.
Big tackle from Trent Lario. It might be too late.
That's what caused the scuffle, and that cheer is for the Brisbane Broncos fans, who are rejoicing that Trent Lario has been sent from the field into the sin bin, and that'll be the Storm down a man for the last 2 minutes. Just to rub salt into the wounds for Trent Lario in game 100. It will take a miracle now for the Melbourne Storm.
2 minutes ago, Brisbane Broncos have the ball. Lucy Walsh takes the penalty kick. They'll play the ball on the 30-metre line, and things aren't looking good for the Melbourne Storm.
Michael Maguire, the head coach of the Brisbane Broncos, took the Rabbitohs to premiership glory in 2014. And now in his first season at the Broncos, might be about to double up his premiership tally. The Broncos in possession, they're at halfway. They're just going to play it slow here, Brisbane. Chew up the time. Here goes Reece Walsh, still fighting on, still finding the energy in the 79th minute of the game. He gets to the Storm 40. They're inside Melbourne Storm's half here at Brisbane, 30 metres away. They're taking up time and they're taking up space and territory. Here goes Payne Haas. Here goes
last tackle.
Working his way through.
The Melbourne Storm will get one crack at them.
Reece Walsh out to Shibasaki, who's the man who turned this game, and that is the final tackle. The ball will be turned over, and there is 1 minute to go, and the Storm have to go the length of the field.
And unfortunately for the Melbourne Storm, everyone is on their haunches. We are out of gas.
50 seconds left in the grand final. The Storm are basically on their own try line. Here's Munster, 10 metres out. Has to find a gap. He's finding some space here, Munster. Gets up to the 30. Made up a good 25 or so metres with that run, Cam Munster. Seconds are ticking down. Half a minute to go. Wishart to Hughes. Infield to Pappenhausen. Will come out the near side. Finds Katoa. He finds a gap, Billy Katoa. Might this be the chance?
Whoa.
Pappenhausen gets blown up 35 metres away.
Reece Walsh, what a tackle.
He thought he was there, Pappenhausen. Here's Meaney. Goes infield to Hughes. Puts his head under.
2 tackles to go here.
2 tackles left and 10 seconds to go.
They want to get up. Oh, what's...
Hughes is slow to get up. Has he been hurt by Carrigan? He gets up now, Jerome Hughes. Slow play the ball. 20 metres away here, the Storm.
Last tackle. This will be the last tackle.
This is it. This is the play. Final play of the season. Katoa goes with a long cut-out pass. It's intercepted. Jordan Ricky takes it. The Broncos have the possession. The Broncos have the premiership. Game over. Brisbane win.
Well, off the back of their second half performance, the Brisbane Broncos deserve that. So disappointing for all those Melbourne Storm fans out there. So good in the first half, second half, no good at all. I don't know what to say, Jordan. I'm gobsmacked. Shattered for the boys. We had a couple of opportunities there late. Obviously, Ryan Pappenhausen, that little football to Will Warbrick, cost us. It wasn't looking good in that second half. The way the boys came out in that second half was really, really slow, really, really poor. And I don't know what to say. I'm shattered. I'm shattered for the boys. I'm shattered for Craig. And I'm sure the boys didn't want to play that brand of football in the second half. But to their credit, the Brisbane Broncos, outstanding in that second half.
Full-time score at Accor Stadium in front of 80,000 fans here at the Olympic precincts. It is the Melbourne Storm 22, the Brisbane Broncos 26. And the Brisbane Broncos win their 7th premiership. They break a 19-year drought. And the Melbourne Storm will finish runners-up for a second year running.
We spoke about it before, the Melbourne Storm. Not a great record to have, but the first team in NRL's history since 1998 to go back-to-back losses in grand finals. Disappointing, absolutely disappointing. We saw them the first half. I thought they obviously that first try wasn't a great start to the game, but they got back on the horse, played a better brand of football, and did really, really well for that. I suppose the next sort of 15, 20 minutes. But as I said, mate, that second half, the Melbourne Storm didn't fire a shot. Not one shot.
Storm players sitting on their backsides on the field, scattered all the way around Accor Stadium, heads in hands, disbelief etched across their face. The Brisbane Broncos, players, staff, have all huddled around and are celebrating in a pack away to our right near the southern end. The Storm reserves players and the rest of the extended squad are all slowly making their way out, trying to console their teammates. It's obviously, as it is in a grand final normally, two very different pictures from one half to the other, but for the Melbourne Storm, just more agony as they finish runners-up again, and it's becoming a unfortunate tale. Robbie, the last 4 grand finals they've been in, 3 of them have been runners-up.
Yeah, it's disappointing. They've been so successful and they've been so dominant for such a long period of time, but teams just seem, successful teams are seen by the amount of premierships they've won, and the Melbourne Storm, I said won 6, and I said earlier on I'm counting the 07 and 09 years, but they've had 6 premierships, but as you said, the last 3 out of the last 4 they've lost.
Yep. 2018, 2024, 2025, with 2020 being the one win in between all of that.
Yeah, I'm looking down the sidelines. I'm really feeling for the fellas. I see Trent, Big T down there, sitting on his own, poor bugger. I see Munsters lying down on the ground. There's not much you can say to the boys. I mean, the after party's going to be like a morgue. I went there last year, and Paul Craig Bellamy was sitting in the corner by himself, and I had a mate with me. He says, I'm going to go over and say something to Craig. I said, don't you dare. Don't go anywhere near him. And no one lives a loss like Craig Bellamy, the poor fella. I said from day one that the Melbourne Storm, if they're going to win, they're going to have to win ugly, and it was an ugly game for them. Like I said, the first half was great. Second half, very, very poor. They just looked like they didn't come out with any urgency.
The Storm scored 4 tries to 2 in the first half to lead 22-12. Meaney, Katoa, Warbrick and Hughes, the try scorers to the Broncos, with Mariner and Walsh scoring 1 each in the first half. And in the second half, for a minute, I had it written down 46-59, so a 13 or so minute burst, roughly 13 or 14 minute burst at the early stages of the second half. They scored 3 tries, 2 to Shibasaki, and Dean Mariner scored his second try of the game. And that was what turned the game around, from trailing by 10 points at half-time to winning by 4 points at full-time. 5 tries to 4 on the night for the Broncos, and they win their first premiership since 2006, to add to 1992, 1993, 97, 98 and 2000 as well for the Brisbane Broncos.
We're talking about Shibasaki's his first half performance. Very, very low. Well, when I say low, slow, I should say. Didn't see much of him in that second half. Had a breakout second half. 2 tries within the first, 15, 20 minutes?
Yep.
And I mean, it was always going to be a bit of an arm wrestle. I mean, there wasn't much in it points-wise. I mean, we got down to the last, even full time. It looked like they absolutely dominated us, but there's only 4 points in it.
Finished in the end, Shibasaki with 200 run metres. So he split his game evenly, 100 in each half for Matt Shibasaki with the 2 tries. They'll award the Clive Churchill medal shortly. The dais has been set up in the centre of Accor Stadium. The Melbourne Storm players finally back up onto their feet and still in disbelief, looking around aimlessly into the ether in front of them. The Brisbane Broncos players, they are celebrating across to our right. They've done the double, Brisbane. The Brisbane Lions into the Brisbane Broncos 1 week into the next.
I didn't see it, but who ended up winning the women's?
The Brisbane Broncos.
Brisbane Broncos?
Yeah.
3. Oh, geez.
They won it. Late drama in that game.
Was it?
Yeah. There was a fight that broke out at the very end.
Was it? Well, there you go. For all those Queenslanders out there, they've won the Origin.
Yep.
They've won the AFL, they've won the NRL, and they've won the NRLW.
And there'll be a chance to win the AFLW too. AFLW goes pretty well.
Absolutely on fire to be all you Queenslanders, which I'm not happy about that. But Big Stefano, I see him down there, disappointed. I mean, yeah, disappointing for the Melbourne Storm. I mean, Jakey Howarth, I think he went out and went off in the first 10 to 15 minutes.
All right, what we might do is we'll take a break here. We've got about half an hour or so left here on Storm Radio to tidy things up. We'll get the Clive Churchill medal and then we'll hand you off to the post-game show here on SEN for the wrap-up of the 2025 Grand Final and the 2025 season. Full-time here on Storm Radio for Host Plus, that's a plus. It ends with the Brisbane Broncos running over the top of the Melbourne Storm in the second half. The Broncos win the premiership 26-22 over the Melbourne Storm.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
So just what backyard sports does your family excel at? Cricket, footy, classic catches in the pool? Is your grandstand, we mean outdoor living area, up to scratch? Speak to Lou the House and transform your outdoor area with an Australian-made opening and closing roof. Lou the House do everything. Planning, design, council approvals, manufacturing and installation. Get your home ready for next summer now with a free design, measure and quote. Bring your outdoor area to life and see the light with Lou the House. louthehouse.com.au.
Top mechanics agree. Euro Plus brake pads from Bendix are the superior brake pad for European vehicles. So it makes sense they're paired with Euro Plus disc brake rotors. Both with unrivaled performance you won't find in original equipment parts. Leading technology, precision engineering, just like your European vehicle. Euro Plus brake pads and disc brake rotors. Bendix, put your foot down with confidence.
Need to move? Whether it's people, places, product or anything, you can count on Avis for great rates, reliability and experience. They make moving easy. Avis Truck Rentals has the vehicles, whether you're moving 1 bedroom or 5. With trolleys and hydraulic lifts, Avis Truck Rentals will make your moving day stress-free. Don't pay others to do what Avis makes easy. Avis Trucks, utes, vans, buses and 4-wheel drives. With a branch near you, avis.com.au.
If I asked you to go outside now, grab a shovel and hack through your internet or water connection, would you do it? Of course not. It'd cost you a fortune to fix, plus being without internet or water for hours or days would drive you mad. Yet digging without searching before you dig online first is a gamble. Or worse, if you strike a gas or electricity main. Before every job, search before you dig online every time. And never dig blind.
There's just so many memories here. When I was 8, I hit a cricket ball through the window. It was the match of the century. And when Tristan asked Imogen to marry him in the kitchen, well, that was the question of the century.
Epic moments like these make a house a home. At Century 21, we understand the life, love and laughter that goes into a home. That's why our experts will go above and beyond to guide you when buying a new home or selling a beloved one. Visit c21.com.au. Century 21, dedicated to the joy of home.
Need power, lighting or fuel solutions that don't cost the earth? Green Power Solutions is Australia's #1 sustainable rental hire company for generators, lighting and hybrid power systems powered by sustainable fuels that can cut greenhouse gas emissions by up to 90%. From major infrastructure projects to high-profile events, we combine innovation, reliability and environmental responsibility to keep your site running and your sustainability goals on track. Search Green Power Solutions or call 1-800-GO GREEN.
Living with diabetes? Ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre. Freestyle Libre is a small wearable sensor that monitors your glucose levels and trends and bangs them straight to your phone. Instant up-to-date feedback. No finger pricks. How good is that? And you can trial Freestyle Libre for only $15. Just head to freestylelibre.com.au to find out how. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use. Read warnings before purchase. Free yourself from finger pricks with Freestyle Libre.
Greenworks Power, Greenworks Quality, Greenworks Range, your ultimate battery power garden brand. Tame your lawn with our large range of mowers, trimmers and blowers. Then take adventure to the next level with our high-performance e-bikes, mini-bikes and go-karts. No petrol, no fumes, no limits. All backed by a 4-year tool and battery warranty. Visit greenworksaustralia.com.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
We are the Storm from Melbourne town. We'll blow the others off the ground. We are the Storm and we're number one. To play.
Storm Radio here from Accor Stadium. Jordan Canellis and Robbie Kearns with you. You can send in your text messages on 0433 98 11 16. We are here brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus. Robbie, the Clive Churchill medalists, Reece Walsh.
Yeah, we just spoke about him. He had a fantastic game of football. Had that breakout try there in the second half. It was the first half, wasn't it?
First half, yeah.
You know, superstar player, superstar game from Reece Walsh. We spoke about him all week.
At the age of 23, this is a real coming-of-age night, isn't it? For
absolutely. He's been playing first grade for a long period of time. He was over there in for the Wars, the New Zealand Warriors there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But, he's writing his own book here at the moment. Someone says he's going to be worth $40 million by the end of his career.
Jeez.
Just his marketing skills and bits and pieces there with his little daughter. Good on him. He deserves it. Had a fantastic game of football every time. Some of the referees got a bit of a bagging. Must be a few Melbourne Storm fans out there. But Reece Walsh, going back to Reece Walsh, he's been a fantastic player for such a period of time. And every time he touched the ball tonight, he looked electric and very hard to stop. And we saw that in that first half of that fantastic solo try.
I know James Tedesco just won his another Dahlia medal the other night, but is Reece Walsh ready to take over the #1 for Australia?
Yeah, I think so. I think Tedesco, he's been around for a long period of time, and but yeah, I think Reece Walsh deserves his spot in the #1 jersey for the Australian team. Obviously, he didn't play this year for the Origin. I don't think someone jumped in front of him. Oh, did he play? I'm trying to read this right. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but mate, he's going to dominate the NRL for years to come. At this level, at the Origin level, and for Australia in the years to come. So it's got a big future.
All right, we'll take our final break here on our coverage tonight on Storm Radio. We'll come back after this and we'll farewell you, Robbie Kearns, and our audience from Accor Stadium before we hand over to the other boys, Joel Kane, Brett Camorley and Scott Sattler for the post-game show. Coming back after this, Storm Radio for Host Plus, that's a plus.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
You've seen Trojan tools on the block. The same tools trusted by the blockheads for the toughest DIY challenges. Built tough, built to last, and built for everyday DIYers. But the real game winner, Trojan offers a broad range of quality tools you can trust, backed by lifetime warranty. Whatever the task, Trojan tools are up for the job. Trojan, tools built tough. Available in store or online at Bunnings Warehouse.
Come in now to your local Harley-Davidson dealership and we'll set you up with a deposit contribution on select models. Don't wait for your freedom. Our deposit contribution for your new Harley is ready and waiting in dealerships today. You can ride away with serious savings and even more attitude. And with 24 months roadside and warranty as standard, it's time to ride. Offer ends soon. Terms and conditions apply. See your nearest Harley-Davidson dealer for full details.
So just what backyard sports does your family excel at? Cricket, footy, classic catches in the pool? Is your grandstand, we mean outdoor living area, up to scratch? Speak to Lou the House and transform your outdoor area with an Australian-made opening and closing roof. Lou the House do everything. Planning, design, council approvals, manufacturing and installation. Get your home ready for next summer now with a free design, measure and quote. Bring your outdoor area to life and see the light with Lou the House. louthehouse.com.au.
If you're tired of dirty wheels on your European vehicle, listen up because Bendix has the answer. Euro Plus brake pads from Bendix feature dust reduction technology that will have your wheels looking cleaner for longer. But it's not just about the looks. Euro Plus pads are the perfect OE replacement, offering smooth, quiet and more confident braking. Ask your mechanic to fit them at your next service. Get Bendix Euro Plus brake pads today and enjoy superior braking without the dust. Bendix, put your foot down with confidence.
There's a shed for this and a shed for that. And if you're wondering where the best sheds are at, we just told you. Because the best sheds are simply found at Best Sheds. And their biggest ever shed sale is on now with 30% off the entire range. That's 30% off your dream shed. Their sheds come with a 20-year manufacturer's warranty too, so let's hit the sheds and save a massive 30%. T's and C's apply. Best Sheds, 100% Australian owned and manufactured. Visit bestsheds.com.au.
When you buy Australian made, you're choosing more than a product. You're supporting a stronger economy and creating local jobs, helping Australian families and communities thrive now and into the future. With every purchase, you support local workers, manufacturers and growers who produce world-class products renowned for their quality, safety and reliability. So look for the Australian-made green and gold kangaroo and buy Australian. Visit australianmade.com.au.
The Choices Flooring Style Without Limit sale is here, bringing you fresh flooring and window furnishing ideas to transform every space in time for the festive season. From bold statements to timeless neutrals, discover real style, real expression and real inspiration for your home. Plus, buy any Genero Collection product and you could win a Dyson Wash G1 2-in-1 wet floor cleaner each day. Download the catalogue at choicesflooring.com or visit your local showroom today.
Please, can you change the music?
But I love this song.
Right, that's it. Hands off the dial.
Relationships are built on compromise, but sleep doesn't have to be. At 40 Winks, our bed match technology can tailor the perfect mattress for you and your partner. Firmer over here, softer over there. We call it My Side. It's 2 beds in one. So, everybody wins. My Side. Exclusively at 40 Winks. Serious about sleep.
Host Plus, the official superannuation partner of the Melbourne Storm. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Pty Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au. This is Storm Radio on Grand Final Day.
We are the Storm from Melbourne town. We'll blow the others off the ground. We are the Storm and we're number one. To play.
Storm Radio here from Stadium Australia, Accor Stadium. The Brisbane Broncos players are getting their medals presented to them now. That's the completion of this game, the completion of the season. sees the Brisbane Broncos winning their 7th premiership and their first in 19 years. There was a big cheer for Ben Hunt as he went up and collected his medal. He was so close in 2015, but gets his medal now finally. Robbie Kearns, I welcome you back to the final segment of our stint here tonight.
Yeah, no, it's for all those Brisbane Broncos fans out there, it's what a moment. The Brisbane Broncos, as you said, one of the powerhouses of the competition, and it's been 19 years since they last tasted victory on grand final day, but It's a great game of football tonight. I thought the Melbourne Storm were the better team in the first half, and as we saw in the second half, they didn't come out.
What did they lack in the second half? Where did it go wrong?
They just lacked energy. It just seemed like they had nothing, no gas left in the tank from day dot. You would think after the second half, after half time, the rest, they would have come out and done something. But as I said, they just looked like they had no gas in the tank, and their line speed was horrendous. The decision making with the defence on both left and right sides from their centres and wingers was really, really poor. And I dare say Craig Bellamy, it's one that got away, absolutely.
Yeah, it goes to show that, facts and omens and, recent form doesn't always matter. The Storm have a heavily favoured head-to-head against the Broncos. I think it was 35 of 40 games they'd won against the Broncos. Something crazy like that. And the Broncos did beat the Melbourne Storm, a depleted Melbourne Storm in the last round of the season. And they came off the shorter break off the back of the prelims last week, but that didn't matter that Melbourne had 2 extra days to recover. The Brisbane Broncos were fit and ready to go, and through their finals campaign beat the minor premiers Canberra, beat the four-time reigning premiers Penrith, and then beat the powerhouse Melbourne Storm. So they've had a glorious last month of football.
Yeah, no, they've been fantastic. And I just heard next door, I mean, their journey through the finals period was amazing. I mean, they beat Canberra in Canberra, and twice over in that game, Canberra Raiders thought they'd won that game.
Yeah.
And then the following week, they go on to play, I think it was, I can't even think right now, I'm brain dead, but then they go on the following week and they beat Panthers, and they go on this week and they come out and beat the...
They had the bye after the Canberra game.
Exactly. And so it's Panthers, and they come out here and beat the Melbourne Storm. So 3 games, they were sort of basically seen as underdogs, and they come out here and they win the competition 2025. So, mate, outstanding year for them, considering how they started.
Thank you very much. It's a solemn night again for us here, but thank you for your company.
Good on you, Jordan. I hate to say it, but go to Brisbane Broncos.
Thank you for your text messages as well. Appreciate that, Chris and the CBD, Dean, Tariq. We see all of them coming through. It's a bit of a solemn city, Melbourne, tonight after a grand final defeat again for the 2nd season in a row. Not the outcome we were hoping for, as Tariq from Melbourne says off the text. Hopefully they can do it again and come back next year and win another premiership. For us here from Accor Stadium, Storm Radio, brought to you by Host Plus. That's a plus. That's us done for the night. We're going to hand you over to Joel Kane, Brett Camorley and Scott Sattler for the continuation of the post-game here from Accor Stadium. That's it.